Here we go then for the last time.
Big drama. FIA Gran Turismo European.
Asia-Oceania, America's regional final champions. Here we go then for the last time.
Big drama. FIA Gran Turismo European.
Asia-Oceania, America's regional final champions.
Welcome along everybody to the FIA-Certified Gran Turismo Championships. It's now time for the World Finals and we are live here from Monaco. My name's Chris McCarthy.
And my name is Jimmy Broadbent and we'll both be providing the English commentary for tonight's event.
In der deutschen Sprecherkabine Florian Strauß und René Bruttler. Das Warten hat ein Ende. Wir sind endlich in Monaco.
Genau, das große Finale, die Big Show live für euch. Von uns beiden in Deutsch, die FIA-Certified GT Championship 2018.
La finale mondiale du FIA GT Championship, c'est ce week-end à Monaco dans le temple du sport mécanique. Comment tu vas, Fabien?
Évidemment, je suis au max.
Et ça commence dès maintenant avec les demi-finales. Alors allez la France et mettez du gaz.
Cari appassionati, è arrivato il momento, per qualcuno un incubo, per qualcun altro un sogno o un miraggio. Emilio.
Per tutti la finale mondiale di GT Sport. Quindi Andrea.
Forza Giorgio.
El momento que todos estábamos esperando, ya está aquí la gran final de la FIA Gran Turismo Championship. Que ruja España, que ruja también Latinoamérica. Soy MC Epsilon, para mí es un placer estar aquí con todos ustedes y a mi lado el grandísimo Lucas Ordóñez. ¿Qué tal, Lucas?
Muy bien, hola a todos, con muchísimas ganas de que comience esto. Esto pinta muy bien.
Boa tarde a todos, estamos aqui no Mónaco. Hoje é o dia das grandes finais, das semifinais do Nations Cup. Comigo ao meu lado tenho o vencedor das 24 horas de Daytona, não em virtuais, mas em reais, Filipe Albuquerque, comigo a comentar aqui hoje.
Olá, boa tarde a todos. Estou ansioso por estar aqui presente no Mónaco e comentar a grande final com os representantes portugueses e brasileiros, portanto, força para isso.
Fiquem connosco.
Hey, what's up everyone and welcome to the World Finals and Gran Turismo Championships. Now let's witness a page in history in motorsports.
every corner of the planet. The top 10 drivers from each region have fought their way to be here now. This is the FIA-Certified Gran Turismo World Final. We're here in Monaco to witness the finest driving skills and to find the best driver in the world. Hello and welcome to the FIA Certified Gran Turismo World Championships. We have scoured the globe for the 30 best drivers in the world who are all going to compete and go head-to-head to try and be crowned champion.
Yeah, so excited for this one, from literally thousands of players all over the planet online to the 90 guys who made it through to our regional finals, the 30 guys who are here today or this weekend. We're going to find out who's the best as we crown our first ever Nations Cup champion. Here's how we got to this stage. The FIA Gran Turismo Championships was a brand new concept for 2018 and a massive opportunity for these guys. First up, over in Tokyo at the start of October, we had the Asia and Oceania finals. The first 10 drivers made it through that. Then it was on to Madrid, where 10 became 20 in the Europeans. And 2 weeks ago in Las Vegas, the Americas title was decided and our final lineup was complete. We've seen some incredible racing in all corners of the planet. And now it comes down to this, the world final right here in Monte-Carlo.
Yeah, it's been a pretty epic journey. I've been lucky enough to be along for most of it, and yourself, Matt. It's been pretty incredible. So we did, of course, crown our 3 regional champions who were all competing here today. So let's take a look at them. We have Ryoto Kokubun from Japan. So he's best never been completely consistent and with very few mistakes.
Yeah, he was the quickest online and quickest in the tournament as well.
Then we have Mikhail Huzal, who is incredibly fast. He also, I think, has best hair within Gran Turismo. He's just really, really chilled and really, really laid back, which I think has served him well, definitely, in those regional finals. And of course, Igor Fraga, who just absolutely smashed all of his races, unstoppable, really, really focused, apart from at the end where he went a bit mad.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Those are the 3 top guys, really. Hizal qualified 15th online, but really relishes these live events, I think. And Igor Fraga there races for real as well. He won the Brazilian F3 Light Championship last year. So, I mean,
we have got some sneaky, like, IRL drivers in the midst of Gran Turismo.
We do, and you know, we've seen it in the past, haven't we? The GT Academy guys who go from online and sim racing into the real world.
Backwards, forwards, backwards again.
The lines are getting ever more blurred.
Well, I mean, it's not just about, obviously, the champions from those regional finals, just because everything can change when it comes to actually being on this stage here, and the pressure can really make or break. We had another one that I wanted to call out, who's one to watch, which is Fabian Portilla, who was, he actually was just really, really chilled as well. I honestly think this really does pay its dues in these kind of competitions. He's very, very chilled all the way through, but very, very aggressive at the same time. He just looked like he was having an absolutely splendid time the entire time he was doing it, especially at the end where he went, probably, I think he went actually the craziest out of everyone I've seen throughout the whole regional finals.
Yeah, he looked so calm.
That, though.
He looked so calm, didn't he? But there, look at that. That's what it means. That's what it means to these guys. You know, they work so hard to get here and to make it through to the finals. They've literally flown in from all over the globe, and it's such a special experience for them. So you're picking out Portilla. He's your man to watch. You were there in Las Vegas.
Definitely.
Watching him. Of course, I was in Madrid at the European finals, and one guy who stood out to me, maybe a little bit of patriotism sneaking through here. I'm not biased. I'm not afraid to admit it, to be honest, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how Adam Sassuolo can get on this weekend. Adam made it to the final of the European GT Academy. You guys might remember when the judges actually, in the end, they went for Portugal's Miguel Faísca. Adam kind of put his racing on hold for a few years after that, but 5 years later, he's back now, and there's no doubt that he is one of the top contenders here this weekend.
Definitely, yeah. Representing the UK.
Representing.
Loving it.
Come on, Adam. But he's not the only one, of course, outside that top 3 that you mentioned.
We have to kind of talk about someone outside the UK.
Yeah,
maybe.
Okay, then we'll do that.
All
we'll do that right now because you mentioned Ryoto Kokubun there, who won the Asia and Oceania finals in some style, but he actually didn't win all 3 races. In fact, race 2 went to Hong Kong's Jonathan Wong. He's looking in good shape this weekend. Here's how he felt after qualifying yesterday.
Until now, I'm not feeling so well because my qualify, I did not do my best time. So I will start in the mid-pack in the semi-final race, and luckily I got my best car to do it in this race. I want to do the best to hopefully can jump up 2 places and straight into the last top 16 races.
Everyone is so keen to do well. This really does mean everything. It's really, really lovely to watch, actually. So let's take a quick look about what's going to be happening today. What's the schedule for today? So we're going to be having 3 races. There is semi-final A and semi-final B, and then the last chance saloon, which is the repechage race at the very end, which is always a bit of a goer.
A bit of a goer, yeah. It is, well, the repechages have produced some of the best racing in the regional finals so far. So we're looking forward to seeing those. But first of all, the guys, really what they want to do is secure their passage through the group stages. 16 drivers are going to progress to Sunday's final. We're going to have 2 group races of 15, Group A and Group B. The top 6 in each of those races will automatically go through to Sunday's final. 7th place to 14th places in those races will go through to the repechage, bit of a goer, as Julia says. 15th place means you're out. And then in the repechage, of course, the top 4 go through, and 5th place down to 16th, they're out. And one other thing to take into account, actually, is that all the results today, they will count for points, which will go towards the guys' totals on Sunday. So it's not just, if you're in the top 6, it's not just enough to kind of sit there. You know, there are battles for points ongoing as well.
Yeah, I mean, if you're like in first and you're like way ahead, don't just be cash about it.
No.
Don't just be cash about it.
No, make it interesting.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
Yeah. So
what we want.
6 plus 6 plus 4? No. I'm doing some quick maths, which I shouldn't do live, ever.
No, that never works out. Listen, that's enough waffle from us too. Let's not get into the maths. Without further ado, please welcome out here onto the stage your semi-finalists for the Gran Turismo Nations Cup to the national anthem of Monaco.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what it is all about, the FIA Gran Turismo Championships for 2018. Here we go then, and we're off away in racing. Who's going to emerge from the lead in all of this? What a fantastic move, but the race is not over yet. Oh, no! Oh, it's over! He has to keep them at bay. Oh, but he's running a bit wide. They're still side by side.
This is fantastic driving.
Can't ask for much more than that.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm pretty jazzed about all that. Are you jazzed?
What's jazzed?
Like, excited?
Oh, yeah, in that case, I'm totally jazzed. Yeah.
Well, now you just made it weird. All right, let's kick it off with our very, very first race, which is the Autodromo Lago Maggiore, which is always pronounced so much better than my stupid English accent. Let's take a look. You actually had to chat with someone about it.
I chatted with Igor Fraga about it yesterday, yeah. A nice peaceful morning, beautiful Monaco in the background, and a chance for Igor Fraga to get some fresh air before it all gets too intense inside there, Igor. But before we talk about the racing, I want to ask you about one of the tracks, Lago Maggiore. Tell me what you think the keys are to this track.
I think the track have a really good flow, so I think it's very important to carry speed through it and being able to hit every apex. The key is really, follow the flow and being always, quick into the corners, but never, coming wide or stuff like this.
Is it a track that suits your style? Is it one you're looking forward to driving, or is there other guys you're looking at thinking he's going to be dangerous here?
There will be some couple of guys that will be very strong too. I will need to be, studying more the track and see where I can really gain time. And it's very difficult, but you have to be always aware what the other guys are doing, and maybe you can, doing the same thing, and you gain like a little bit here and here at the end of the day, makes a big difference.
And how about the demands of this track on the car and specifically on the tyres? What would the strategy be?
It's not going to be easy for the tyre because they have some fast corners. So I think, the MR cars, the mid-engine cars will be a little bit better. They have like a better cornering speed. The FR car probably will suffer a bit with the understeer when the tire wear kicks in.
You looking forward to it?
Yes, of course. Yes.
We're looking forward to seeing you there too. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
He talks so well, doesn't he? Not just fast in the car as well. Igor Fraga there. And this is Lago Maggiore. It's a fantasy circuit based up in northern Italy, fast and flowing. I like the way that Igor described it, actually. Follow the flow.
That feels like a good bit of life advice, not just for driving.
I think we should get some T-shirts made up with that, follow the flow. And as Igor also mentioned there, tyres absolutely crucial at this circuit, depending on whether it's front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, or whatever the drivetrain is. But whatever it is, tyre strategy, each driver must use each tyre type at least once. It's a 10-lap race, so 3 on the soft, 3 on the medium, and 4 on the hard. You're going to lose about 1.2 seconds a lap on the medium, around 2.4 roughly on the hard as well. So the guys have really got to decide, crucially, which one to go with first.
I mean, I appreciate tyre strategy is really important, but let's talk about the things that they're attached to, Matt.
Oh, the cars,
the
cars. They are attached to cars, which will also be crucially important as well, of course. This is Group 3 cars, which are essentially GT3 cars, and of course, normally your GT3s on the road, there are essential differences between them, as there are in this too, but this is Gran Turismo, right? This is, we can do whatever we want with these. So you've got things like the Alfa Romeo, you've got a Subaru WRX that are pimped up to GT3 standard, basically. Fully fledged race cars, equivalent to the FIA GT3 class, with wider bodies and aerodynamic improvements. And this, I guess, really is where we get to live our fantasies out. And, to me, that's the essence of Gran Turismo, right?
Yeah, a little bit. So is pimped up the technical term? If you go into a garage, is that what you asked for?
Yeah, pimp it. Have you not seen Pimp My Ride?
Yeah, I know, but that was a TV show. I didn't think that was legit. All right, okay. Well, less about what he thinks and more about what you guys think at home. We would love to know which car you would pick from this category. So hit us up on social media using the hashtag FIAGTC and GT Sport, and let us know, and we'll review them a little bit later on. So I think it's about time that we got this underway. Let's chuck it over to our commentators and let the games begin.
Thank you, Julia. Welcome to the English commentary box, everyone. Jimmy, welcome to Monaco. How good is it to be here?
It's a bit surreal, isn't it, really, Chris? You walk out and you see Monaco, you see the GP circuit, and you go, well, okay, business time. We're, of course, here, though, for the finals. We're finally here at the finals. It's been a bit of a ride, really, isn't it?
It has. I mean, they had qualifying yesterday, did the drivers. They've been split now into 2 groups. So we have Group A going out first, and then we have Group B going out after that. So from those 2 semi-final races, 6 are going to go through from each race, and then we're going to have a repechage race where the top 4 are going to go through. One thing I wanted to speak about, Jimmy, is the change that we've had in this, which is going to be, there's going to be points in the semi-finals and the repechage as well. So that's one thing that the drivers definitely need to focus on. It's not only where you finish, it's not only about getting through to the finals, but it is about, of course, scoring points as well.
Yep, okay, yeah, definitely. At this point, before it was just get through, have it done with, easy peasy. Now you have to fight for every point that's on the table.
Right, well, let's get into the grid for the first semi-final, shall we? Grid is going to be coming up very shortly. There you can see the cars are in place. The drivers are in the rigs. It's about time to get this world final underway. Igor Fraga is going to be on pole position for this one, having qualified on pole yesterday. Fabian Portier starts in 2nd place. Starting from 3rd, it's going to be Jeffrey Gallen, the Canadian, The 23-year-old starts from 3rd place. Then we have the British driver, Adam Saswillo, who finished 2nd at the European Regional Finals. Tomoaki Yamanaka starts from 5th place. Of course, he had a very good run at his regional final as well. Jorge Lopez, who had a very strong finish to the regional finals in Madrid. He starts next. On 7th, it is Jacob Gertz. Then it is Andrew Brooks, fellow Canadian, starts from 8th place. 9th place, potentially one to watch, the Hungarian Patrick Blashan. Then in 10th place, it'll be Daniel Holland, the Australian. Just outside of the top 10 then, in 11th place, it will be Florian Pagenet, the French driver. And then we have Joseph De Jesus, a bit of a wild card for this, and we'll go into that a little bit later. Yuki Shirakawa starts from 13th place, the Japanese driver. Bit of a surprise to see this person down there, Andrew McCabe, 3rd in Vegas a couple of weeks ago, all the way down in 14th. A lot of work to do for him. And at the back of the grid, it is Jay Skaruda. 15 cars on the grid for this one. Top 6 are going through, 10 points going to the winner, and then it goes back to 5 points for the driver in 6th place. Jimmy, over to you to talk us through the race start.
This is unprecedented in our finals anyway. 15 cars taking to the grid here for our first semi-final at the World Finals in Monaco.
Sounds good, doesn't it?
It does sound very good indeed. Of course, Igor Fraga, our winner from the Americas regional final, will be leading us off in that Volkswagen, coming round the last corner. And when we see the countdown, that will be race on. So AI just currently warming the tyres for the drivers. It's very nice like that. And just this is a bit of it. It's a rolling start, so just got to focus on having your foot to the floor and eyes towards T1. And see if we make up a couple of cheeky positions here at T1 and 2. So here we are then. Igor Fraga leads the field down the start-finish straight. Fraga, Portier, Galland, 3, 2, 1. And we are away here at the FIA GT Championship World Finals, the first semi-final, and down in T1, Fraga leads from Portier, leads from Galland, leads from Saswillo. It's a left, right, and you see Galland already on the back of Portier there. That MR Porsche having a great start, it seems, onto the back of the Toyota. Fraga taking a very wide line into T3, that then sweeps round to the right-hander, then down towards T5, one of probably the more interesting corners on the circuit. Not the most interesting one, but one of them. You see the cars snaking down now, down the hill. Now watch this corner down here. It's a very long, almost like a carousel ride through here. So many different lines through this corner. If you're brave enough to experiment, you usually gain a little bit of time. Portier right now, if anything, holding up Galland, and Fraga's already got a second lead, Chris. He's already doing what he did in the last race at Vegas.
Yeah, as you see, Portier already the cork in the bottle here, but this is a 10-lap race, of course. They have to use all 3 compounds of tyre, so the top 6 have all gone for the soft, and then we've got 3 drivers on the racing hard tyre, a few on the medium just outside of the top 10. So we've got people already, Jimmy, trying to try that undercut, but out front they are all on the soft tyre, so it's a straight fight here. Portier shouldn't really be dropping back, but he is, and here comes Galland to dive down the inside. Jeffrey Galland, is he going to be able to take second place? Portier has left in the win, but he's going to try and gamble and go around the outside. Galland just about sneaking into second, but the move hasn't been completed just yet. He's going to have to try round the outside at the chicane. Portier leaving in racing room. Round the chicane they come. Look at Saswillo in the background as well. Likewise, Yamanaka also in this fight. So Portier still hanging on for now.
Of course, if you start squabbling with the car in front, it means the guys behind are going to be able to get back in on the action. That's what Saswillo and Yamanaka have done. It's second, third, fourth, fifth in your picture right now as we come down to the last corner to complete the first lap of the race. And already Igor Fraga has a 1.6 seconds lead. He loves leading from the front. This is where he feels most confident, and he is showing that right now. Look how close these guys are coming down the pit straight. I'm sure we're going to see someone lunge to the inside at T1. There is Fraga. Looks to the background. Portier has to defend there from Galland. Goes to the inside, just about manages to keep the line on the inside of the right-hander. But Saswillo trying the outside line. I don't think he's going to make it round. Side by side, though, still side by side, coming down left-hander, and Saswillo slots back into position.
We've got a new driver in the top 6, I believe, did we? Well, Lopez, I think, fighting away with Brooks there. Now, the top 6 are gone at the moment, so all of them are going through, but it's about points now, isn't it? Of course, as you've just pointed out, soft tyres, so Brooks is the best of the rest at the moment. Here goes Saswillo. He's going to dive down the inside of Galland. A brave attempt that from Saswillo. Galland, that's really ruined his chances of challenging Portier on this lap, and Yamanaka might be able to take advantage of a move that didn't quite work out for Saswillo as he tries to dive down the inside. these guys, Jimmy, this is not really what they should be doing while they have the chance to use these soft tyres, is it? They need to use it to just put in lap times, not fight.
Definitely, and as we said before, the soft tyre will last about 2 or 3 laps around here. He's already had the best of the tyre life, and Gallen going defensive from Sassuolo. This is what he did to Portier in the lap before. You can see now the gap to Portier is opened up. Sassuolo's going to try and go all the way around the outside in that Lexus, not really the right line through there. Gallen will hold third for now. As you said, Chris, the top 6 really pulling away for the rest of the field, but they need to be doing that because Brooks at the moment on the hard tyre is probably in the best position because he still has the soft and medium tyre left to run. A reminder that our drivers have to use every compound of tyre in this race, so some starting on the soft, they're going to have a fast start, but they're going to struggle a bit later on when they're on a harder compound of tyre.
Yeah, 14 times tyre wear in this one as well, so they're really chewing through those tyres. Now Lopez has gone up to 5th place past Yamanaka, so the Spaniard going along very well, just like how he finished his regional finals campaign in Madrid. As they now go on to the start-finish straight, they're all going to try and stay on this tyre one more lap. Brooks, this is working into his hands very well. He's only 2.8 seconds back, and we'd probably expect him to be a lot further back than that at the moment, but Brooks doing very well as Gallen has just gone through the third.
He did, well, Sassuolo, and Gallen were swapping places. This is why, look how close they are now. Nose to tail, still 3rd, 4th, and 5th, and even 6th in the background there, sorry, are all in your picture. Yamanaka has kind of been threatening to do something, but not really had the run to get past someone, but Lopez has. Lopez has actually passed Yamanaka and is now up into 5th position. The Spaniard with a good run at the start of this race, probably looking to try and make up a little bit for what he describes as a bit of a disappointing run at Madrid. If anyone's got the talent to come through the field, it is Jorge Lopez. But here is Gallen leading our little train right now. We expect to see these guys come in at the end of this lap to fit a different set of tyres. We think the lap 3 is probably about the end of the tyre life for the softs. So mediums or hards after that. We might see a divergence in strategy there, Chris. Some might go medium, some might go hard.
Well, as I always do, I'm putting you on the spot. What would be your preferred strategy? In fact, we might come back to that because we've got a lot of defending going on here from Sassuolo. Lopez has already moved up to 5th so far in this race. Can he now move up to 6th place as they go down to the hairpin? No, Lopez sits in behind for now, but he looks like he's managed these tyres a lot better than the guys ahead. And as they go uphill to the chicane, Sassuolo is in trouble here and is going to have to try and get past Gallen if he's going to hold on to that 4th place or hold off Lopez, shall I say. Into the double right-hander we go, and it's still all together, these top 4 battling over 3rd place. That's allowed Portier to break away. I don't think he would have expected to do that, and I think this is the time Lopez is going to go through the 4th. Good opportunistic driving, Lopez into 4th.
A little bit rough there, I think. Didn't quite catch the whole move, and in comes our leader, Igor Fraga, into the pit lane. He'll go for a fresh set of tyres. Onto the medium tyres he goes. What does Portier does? He copies the leader, medium as well. They're all going for the medium tyre, it seems. Sassuolo actually going for the hard tyre, as does Patrick Blajan.
He's going to the medium.
At the moment. He's gone from hard to medium. So everyone coming in right now. Phase 2 of the strategy is underway. Let's see how this pans out. Now, Brooks, of course, who's out there on the hard tyre, actually inherits the lead. So he's still out there right now on the worn hard tyres. And Igor Fraga would have really wanted to come out ahead of Brooks. Now he's got to get past him on track.
Yeah, so Brooks could either let Fraga go by here or start playing about with him a bit and go defensive. So Brooks could start messing up the race of Fraga here if he's not careful. Fraga, of course, will want to get by ASAP because Portier is, of course, next along. Now, here we go. We've got a battle going on. Shirikara to the outside of Gallen. So people coming out the pits, fighting with people who have stayed on track and are on longer strategies. De Jesus goes up to 5th place there. Lopez now trying to go back to 5th place.
That just driving past them, Chris. They're standing still. These guys are pitted in for the medium tyre and driving past the guys who have not yet pitted in. The tyre wear of the differences there obvious on screen. Both Gallen and Lopez just drive through like it's absolutely nothing. But look who's got caught in the traffic there. Yamanaka. He hasn't got through as easily, and all that time he's spent there, he's losing time to the guys he was fighting before the pit stop.
Now Igor Fraga's gone into the lead very comfortably. He's already 1.3 down the road from Brooks, which I think said, oh, here we go, 3-1. Oh, and an instant, almost an instant there. De Jesus just got caught out on the outside, and I think he'd be a little bit aggrieved with that one as Yamanaka and Shirikara went side by side. What did you make of that?
Very opportunistic from Yamanaka, just sent it up the inside, got it done. I don't think there was much contact there. We'll have to see a replay if we get one up on screen, but he needs to get up. Here is the replay, so here comes Yamanaka, throws it up the inside. I think it was a little bit kind of, they all went for the same bit of track there in the end.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it was meant as an aggressive move, but we'll see what our stewards think of that. But in the meanwhile, Yamanaka up to 6th, and again, Soswillo behind, hasn't managed to get through, but the damage has been done time-wise. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Igor Fraga has passed Brooks, so he's got past there on the medium tyre, and Brooks still just about holding off in second place for now.
This is becoming a hard race to keep up with, isn't it? There's so much going on out there. So De Jesus and Shirakawa are in to go onto the soft tyre. And we're looking at Galan and Lopez at the moment, who are both on the medium tyre, split by 0.4 of a second as they head down towards the hairpin. Fraga leading by 3.8 seconds as we approach the halfway stage. And it's Portier in third, Galan, Lopez and Yamanaka. And here we go. Is this going to be a change for second? I think it is. The Chilean Portier dive down the inside of Brooks, and Portier is through. So on the medium tyre, that's what we'd expect. He's been into the pits. Brooks hasn't, so he's not going to be too worried about that.
Yep, nice and easy for Portier. Again, a move he needed to make, but we have to say Igor Fraga right now is dominating the field. He did exactly the same thing in the Vegas race. That was a one-make race, so all the cars were equal through there, of course. But in this race, he's just showing his talent extends also to the Group 3 cars, and we'll see if anyone can challenge him. Portier is the most likely person to do it right now, seeing he is in second position. Meanwhile, Gallen loses another. Gets past Brooks there. Brooks going down to fourth. Can't really fight on those worn, hard tyres. He'll probably be in the pit soon for a set of mediums or for a set of softs.
Yeah, I'd expect him to come in this lap personally, because at the moment he's just tumbling down the field, so Brooks needs to come in, I reckon. Lopez has just gone through to take fourth place and will resume his battle with Jeffrey Gallen ahead. At the moment, Igor Fraga is going to be the points leader leading this race. He is leading by 4 seconds. You'd expect, unless he makes a really bad mistake, Igor Fraga should take this one very comfortably. Here comes Brooks. He's now in. Let's see what he goes on to. Hard to medium, so he's working his way down to a quick finish on the softs at the end.
Well, I'll see if that pays off. I kind of don't think it will. I think the soft strategy was the best one. Now, you're probably wondering, why did the guys choose soft tyre at the front of the grid, and why did those down at the back choose the hard tyre? The objective is, when you're at the front, is to get away as quick as you can, get in the soft tyre, just try and use that soft tyre to its best advantage. Fraga did that the best out of anybody, who didn't have to get involved in a fight. Of course, the guys for second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth, they were all squabbling the entire time, which has given Fraga this lead. Now, the guys down a bit further down the back of the field kind of knew they're probably going to be fighting with other people, so they're going to go on a tyre that isn't quite as quick, the medium or the hard tyre, use that up, and then when hopefully later on in the race they've got a little bit of free space, go onto the soft and then put in those fast lap times for, as you say, a flying finish.
Well, the best thing here is that we're having drivers from all 3 regions now going head-to-head for pretty much the first time. So we're getting an idea of who is exactly ranked where in terms of a world ranking. And at the moment, Igor Fraga is showing that he is potentially one of the favourites, if not the favourite for this event, with this performance alone. 4.6 seconds down the road. Now, Soswillo has the final ticket through to the finals at the moment, but he's on the hard tyre, and Patrick Blashan's within a second of him on medium tyres, so we could see that one change hands. Joseph De Jesus has just broken into the top 10, having gone past Shirakawa, who may have some soft tyres on, because he's lost another place to McCabe and loses another one to Pagenet as well, so he's dropping down the order and will need to come into the pit. But this on board with Lopez. It's a good view here as we now get up to the back of Gallen.
You can see the Porsche in front, the MR layout, really struggling, and you see in the bottom right-hand corner the inputs there of Lopez, a little bit delayed in RM, but you get a good idea of what he's doing. So you see throttle, of course, full throttle down the straight, pulls to the inside. Let's see how late he brakes. There it is, full brake input, bleeds off as he comes into the corner. A little bit of trail braking there to get the car turned in. Position made up into third place. That seemed easy enough for Lopez, didn't it? And bear in mind, Gallen's been pretty fast this way, so Lopez made it look easy, just drove by.
Soswillo, the first driver to make a second stop, quickly followed in by Gertz. At the moment, Gertz is in the 15th and final position, which would mean he'd be the only driver to be eliminated at this stage. So really needs to get on with it, Gertz. Of course, he is into the pits though, so that may have an effect on why he is down in 15th at this stage. But Soswillo in, now onto the medium tyres. He's up to 9th place at the moment, so once everyone starts to pit, we should see him either go straight into the top 6 or at least get very close to being happening there. Igor Fraga still leading by just under 5 seconds at the moment, and here we can see him at the moment looks very relaxed before we got going, did Igor Fraga, and that was the advice Lewis Hamilton was giving to the drivers earlier, wasn't it? Just stay relaxed, don't let the pressure get to you, and you should put in a good performance. Well, Igor Fraga was definitely listening.
Well, easier said than done, of course. You've probably seen our stage a couple of times. A lot of people here watching in the audience, and a lot of these guys are used to driving from inside, you know, a bedroom or living room, not on a stage here. And of course, well, some of the guys have already been to one of the events. You have to go to a live event to get to this point, but it's still a little odd if you aren't used to it. So here is Swillow right now. He's currently outside the top 6, whereas where he wants to be to go through to the final automatically. Of course, as Chris said, 7th to 14th, then go through to the repechage. And unfortunately, last place will be out of the competition. But still, being in Monaco, not a bad place. And here comes Fraga in for his final pit stop. He'll go to the hard tyre now, only doing 3 laps on the hard tyre. So what Fraga was doing there was minimising his time on the slower tyre. So I think that's been a solid strategy. It's one that he's used pretty much throughout his time in the competition.
And everyone's doing well. All the leaders are doing the same. Yamanaka doing the same, Portilla, Gallen, and Lopez as well. A lot of drivers coming into the pit, so we're going to get an idea of who exactly is where in terms of overall ranking as we head into the final 3 laps. So Fraga, we now know, of course, is still our comfortable leader. Portilla is still 2nd. Then it is Lopez in 3rd. However, he has Gallen only 7/10 behind. And then the battle, of course, for the last places, we've got Siswillo in 5th. Half a second behind is Yamanaka, and then a whole 4 seconds back is Brooks. However, he is on the soft tyre. Does Brooks have enough time to catch Yamanaka, Jimmy?
We will see. There'll be a big advantage. They say about 1.2 seconds a lap between the soft and medium, and another 1.2 seconds between the medium and the hard. So you add that up, that's 2.4 seconds a lap faster Brooks is supposed to be, but we know Yamanaka is a force to be reckoned with. We're on board with him now, just going through the S's. And just want to have a very quick moment just to say that we are watching the live chat. We can see you guys commenting. Thank you so much for joining us here for the first semi-final of the world final of the FIA GT Championship. Let us know in chat who you think is going to come away with the overall victory here. Could be a name, could just be someone you like to watch. Could just be that. But let us know. We'll try and get back to you if you have any questions as well. But meanwhile, we will go back to the race. And Yamanaka actually doing a great job of hanging with Siswillo, who is on the quicker tyre at this point.
Yeah, Yamanaka and Siswillo, they need to be careful though. Don't fight is the advice I'd be giving them if I could get a radio to them, because Brooks is going to be closing and closing and closing, and if they start fighting, it's only going to aid Brooks and it will help him close in very quickly, and it will give him a chance to qualify straight through to the finals on Sunday. At the moment, that gap is tumbling 2.2 seconds. It is now down to probably going to be around 2 seconds by the time they hit the start-finish straight. So Brooks, this is looking good for him at the moment. However, he may just about run out of time. It depends what happens ahead. Siswillo and Yamanaka, of course, 5th and 6th, very close together. But at the moment, we are looking at Lopez in 3rd place, who has Gallen just behind.
So Skaruda's coming for his final stop now, and it's going to be tight for him whether he comes out ahead of Gertz. And this is important because he's actually now behind. He's going to be on the softer tyre, but he's got about 6 seconds to make up if he doesn't want to be out of his competition. No, sorry, our time is just updated. He has come out ahead of Gertz. I think he might have cheated death this time, Jay Skaruda. But we'll see what Gertz has towards the end. Now, Siswillo, Yamanaka, as they stand, they are both through to the finals. But as we said before, we have Brooks and Blajan there in the background. And Blajan especially looking rather feisty right now. Both on the soft tyre, both with the tyre advantage. I'm saying that Blajan actually goes past Brooks around the outside, coming to this. Brooks just about holds it off and takes the racing line. No, they're still side by side in the background, just about watching the picture in there. And Brooks really making Blajan work for that position.
I tell you what, it wouldn't be a bad idea for Brooks to just say, go on, go through, take me up to the back of the battle for 6th, and then I'll sort it out from there. Here comes Yamanaka. He's about to dive down the inside of Siswillo for 5th place. Keep it clean, guys. You're both going through to the finals at the moment, but that is an extra point in the bag for Yamanaka. To remind you, as Blajan goes into 7th place, to remind you, the winner of this race gets 10 points, second 9, and then we work our way down to 6th place, who will get 5 points. So that is 6 points now for Yamanaka to to his whole campaign, shall I say. I was trying to find the word for that there, but his campaign now has an extra point. This is the battle for second between Portilla and Lopez, and it's worth fighting for second here.
Same again, of course, before we mentioned it wasn't really worth fighting if you're already going through to the next round, but points carry over in the final. Here comes Lopez looking for a couple of extra points, goes to the inside, and Lopez with a very late, Portilla with a very late defence there, just about kept Lopez going to try and hang it round the outside. And here comes Gallen now, making the advantage of Lopez having to take a different line to try and get past Portilla, and now we have second, third and fourth, essentially nose to tail in the background. You can see Yamanaka and Sassuolo, more importantly, Patrick Blajan coming into play. Now he is fighting to go through for an automatic spot in the final and not have to go through the repechage. So we'll see how aggressive the Hungarian is if he catches Sassuolo.
Yeah, that is a race you do not want to be in. Now Blajan is not fighting with Brooks. Well, I thought we were going to see a move there, but now I can go back to what I was going to say. As they go up through these chicanes, Blajan, now he's not in a fight, will definitely gain a lot more time than he did the last time around. But the battle for second still, Portilla leading Lopez and Gallen, but it's the battle for sixth place we really need to keep an eye on. Sassuolo is being caught by Blajan here. We'll have to monitor that over the last half a lap, but for now we'll stay with second place. Portilla, Lopez, Gallen. Portilla surely going to have to defend as they make their way downhill for the final time. Lopez trying to sell him the dummy, and he's on the grass almost as they go down to the hairpin. Lopez trying to look to the inside, and he's forced a mistake from Portilla, and Lopez is through. Portilla on the gravel, Gallen up to third.
Gallen now goes to the inside of Lopez, or tries to anyway. Portilla, the big loser, goes down from second to fourth in one corner, but he's still there in the background. Here comes Gallen. Blajan also right on the back of Sassuolo. Lopez still on the inside, holding the defensive line. Extra points and off for Gallen, going a bit wide. Portilla fancies a go at him, looks to the inside, will be on the outside now. The right-hander, and Blajan has gone past Sassuolo. But here comes Igor Fraga. He taking the victory as you'd expected. Show us what's happening at the back. Fraga through. Lopez, I think, will probably come second. We'll look at the back. There it is. Lopez, Gallen, and Portilla. Yamanaka will come fifth. Would it be Blajan or Sassuolo at the end? It is Blajan. Blajan takes the spot on the line from Sassuolo, and Brooks might get a place too. No, he doesn't. Just loses out on seventh position.
Here comes McKay, ninth place for the American. De Jesus finishes in 10th place. Shirakawa 11th, Holland 12th, Pagenet 13th, Skaruda 14th. Gertz, it's unfortunately the end of his world final campaign. He is eliminated in 15th place. So Fraga it is then who takes the win and the 10 points. He is going through to the finals with Lopez, Gallen, Portilla, Yamanaka in 5th place, and Blajan in 6th place.
You can see there Igor Fraga and Coque Lopez coming together. Just a little quick shake of the hand. Great to see that between the competitors. Fraga, of course, so again, absolutely dominant from the lead. He loves to lead from the front, and that he did, winning by over 8 seconds.
What about Sassuolo, though? You're going to be absolutely gutted, isn't he? I mean, it just came down to tyre strategy. We talked about it earlier. That is a big thing throughout this event. And unfortunately, Sassuolo is just missed out in the end. Well, we can see on screen there, that was a change for second down at the hairpin we saw in the earlier fights. This was the three-way fight going into the hairpin, which had Yamanaka going down the inside of Shirakawa and had to be a little bit forceful on his way through.
You see Coque Lopez there just looking nice and calm, and you wouldn't think he was given that. Here was Yamanaka going to the inside of Sassuolo. Very late move there, best way to do it. Good overtaking spot down here, and Yamanaka used it very well up into 5th position. And again, just looks like a day at the office there for Yamanaka, doesn't it? Doesn't seem very fussed at all.
And that drops Sassuolo into 6th, which was the danger zone. This was the fight for second on the last lap as Lopez went past Portilla, forced him into a mistake and took advantage of it. Here was Igor Fraga. He came across the line to take the win and the 10 points that came with it. And there you can see Igor Fraga knows that is just the start of what could be a big weekend ahead. That was Lopez celebrating his 2nd place. Of course, then we had the rest of the drivers in behind positions on our screen now. But Jimmy, what were your overall thoughts of that one in terms of the racing and tyre strategy?
Well, we saw what we've seen before. We've seen tyre strategy from the front few guys going on the softs essentially straight away, trying to build that gap. And it works if you aren't fighting each other. But the guys at the front, from about 2nd to 6th, they were hot on the heels of each other for the first 2 or 3 laps. And as a result, of course, Fraga checked out. He was gone. But it did seem that was still the superior strategy. Soft first, and then going to deal with the harder tyre, have track position at the back. So we're about to have our standings come up on screen. I think at some point, I'm just going to check out, not quite yet. We'll get back to that in a second, Chris.
Yeah, we will. One thing I was going to ask you, there are the standings now. You can see Fraga, Lopez, Gallen, Portilla, Yamanaka and Blashan, your top 6, and they go through. Siswillo, 7th, the first driver to miss out, but he goes through to the repechage, as do the likes of McCabe, De Jesus, Chiricara, Holland, Pagenet, and Skaruda as well. Now, Jimmy, if you're in semi-final B and you've just watch that race, what do you take away from it?
I take away that you need to be scoring these points early. Absolutely essential for Fraga and for Lopez to get those points in. That puts them in a strong position for a bit later on. Now, we'll get into that a bit more, but I think now we'll be heading over to Julia for a interview with our race winner, Igor Fraga.
Yes, I am. And how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling really good, but I have to keep my focus because, you know, the competition, it's all about to, you know, only beginning. So there's much thing to do, and I have to keep my focus for the next races.
Are you basically just unbeatable because you're just smashing through this?
No, but I mean, have a lot of good drivers here, and I just have to focus myself because if I don't do this, other will come and will beat me. So yeah, it's in a difficult condition, but I'm really happy with all this.
Did you ever think that, you know, sitting at home, playing on your PlayStation, you'd ever be here in Monaco in the World Champs? Do you ever think that was happening?
At the beginning when I started, of course, no. But I saw like, you know, the esports scene growing up a lot. And being here, it's such a special, like it's Monaco. A lot of legend has been racing here. And it's an honor to be here and competing in the Gran Turismo.
How confident are you going to walk all the way through? You're going to take the title?
This is my goal, and I will be doing my very best to achieve my goal. But I think that's it. I don't know if I'm a confidence or not. I'm just trying to focus myself.
Okay. All right. Well, let's take a quick look at our social review. We asked you guys at home which car you would choose from the car category. And let's have a read of what we can see. So the 911 is probably the best all-rounder in the GT3 class for me. Lovely cornering. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that. But sometimes there is, you know, high-speed tracks, and also the tire wear of the Porsche, it's a little bit aggressive sometimes, and it makes a lot of oversteer. So, you know, when the tire wear kicks in, it starts to be really difficult to drive sometimes.
Okay, have we got any more you can pop up on screen and we can have a look? Here we go. So, yeah, the Alfa Romeo, because it's good on tires and fuel as well. Great handling too. How do you feel about that?
I think the Alfa Romeo has it all together, but it's sometimes like, it's not fast as other car that is difficult to handle. So sometimes you have to, you know, balance a little bit the both, because you have to be quick, but at the same time, you know, you want a easy car to drive. So sometimes you have to sacrifice something.
Oh, well, congratulations. Good luck going through to the finals there. And we're going to take a look at our very next track. Matt had a bit of a chat with Lightning himself.
Now, you might assume that our European champion, Mikael Lightning Hizal, knows every circuit on Gran Turismo like the back of his hand. But actually, and especially going into the European finals, Mikael, our next circuit, Dragon Trail Seaside 2, you weren't so familiar with it.
This track is so tricky in general.
So what are the keys to the circuit then? What did you find?
Basically, so many keys at this track. The first corner, which is basically an overtaking spot, actually. And then right after the first corner, there's the chicane of death coming up. The chicane is so narrow and tight, but you have to drive it as fast as possible, like over 200 kilometers per hour. And once you fail to enter the perfect driving line into the chicane of death, basically, your race is pretty much over. Right after that, the slow left-hander corner coming up, which is also a perfect opportunity for some of the guys right behind of the opponent, because you can pretty much take this corner in so many ways. For example, wide line, and then narrow the corner for getting a decent acceleration out of the corner, or maybe doing a dive bomb inside of the track. And then also the last chicane maybe before entering the straight line. If you don't have a good exit out of this corner, you're pretty much losing so much speed or so much time at the end of the straight line, where the guy right behind of you may overtake you in the end.
So they're the tips for you guys to look out for at home. How about you? I know you've been a little ill this weekend, so you've not had too much time to practice, but you feel more confident with this track than you did before Madrid?
Yeah, definitely. Once I completed the race during the European Regional Finals.
And winning it.
It just happened. I feel a bit more confident.
So you should. Good luck.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, amazing. Mikael said that he didn't really know the track before Madrid, but he still won there anyway, so he's going to be one to watch in this race. As he said there, the chicane of death, look out for that one, and the last chicane, the drive to the line, absolutely crucial on this circuit. They're the tips for you guys at home to take into account when you tackle this track, and also for our semi-finalists now in this Group Race B. And as we saw in the Group Race A, tyre strategy, absolutely crucial there, especially in the final few laps in that battle for top 6 positions. Here it's same again. Basically, each driver must use each tyre type at least once. Roughly 3 laps on the soft, 4 on the medium, and 6 on the hard. But it's all about which one are you going to go for first. As I said, we saw that in the first race already. It made a crucial difference at the end in that battle for the top 6, with Adam Sassuolo dropping back down to 7th place. So our next question for you guys at home on social, we're all experts, aren't we? It's different when you're sat up here doing it. But what would you go for? Which tyre would you go with first? Which order would you do it in? Do you want to go hard at the beginning, or just want to be there at the end with that extra bit of pace? It's an interesting one. Jimmy, Chris, what would you guys do as you get ready for this next race?
Well, that was the question I was about to pose to you, Jimmy. Of course, we're not on the same track. We are on Dragon Trail. So what's the differences going to be, do you think, between the race we've just seen and this race, the track? How is that going to affect tyre strategy?
I wouldn't be so bold as Matt to go hard at the beginning. That wouldn't be a wouldn't be a good idea, I think. But I think again we'll see those who are in better grid positions go for the softer tyre just to try and get away. As I'm glad chicane of death is catching on. I'm glad that's caught on. But going through there with a hard tyre at the start, you're going to be struggling for a bit on pace. It's going to be difficult to go through there on a harder tyre, not as much grip. Here are our qualifying standings on screen right now. Yoshida, of course, first, and then with Karatsa in second. Kokibon, our Asia-Oceania regional winner. He's in third. Rubelar, fourth, and Hizao in 5th position. And here are 9th to 15th. You see Giorgio Mangano, our World Tour winner, original World Tour winner, in 9th position. Not as high as we'd expect him, really.
No, behind Hizao, of course, we had Latkovsky, Lamlaw, Wong, Mangano, Salazar, Grady, McMillan, Lenoir, Duval, and Wilk as well. So we've got some fairly big names down towards the back of the field in Pierre Lenoir, Anthony Duval, and Nick McMillan down there as well. Martin Grady's got places to make up, and Mangano, as you touched on. But Jimmy, why don't you talk us through the grid once again and some of the cars they're going to be in for this one?
With pleasure, Chris. And as we already said, it is Shono Yoshida leading off in the Porsche. Great qualifying time from him. And then we go back to Karatsa. He's in 2nd position. A great qualifying from him as well. Better than expected. Kokibon, our regional finalist champion, for Japan, 3rd. Then we have Nico Rubelar, Nico R, in 4th position. In 5th in the Volkswagen DGI is our European champion, Mick Hazal, still feeling a bit under the weather, but fast nonetheless. Then we have Cody Latkovsky in the Mercedes-Benz AMG, followed by Yat Lam Law in the Chevy Corvette C7. Then down in 8th place, it's Jonathan Wong from Hong Kong in the WRX Subaru Impreza. Then here is our World Tour winner, Giorgio Mangano, in the Lexus RCF. Then we go back to Salazar in the Supra. He's starting 10th. Then 11th place, it is our favourite piece of furniture, Martin Grady. Then down to 12th in the ever-loved Beetle, Nick McMillan, our GT Academy winner. Then in 13th place, Pierre Lenoir. Not a great qualifying session from him. He'll be looking to get up the grid nice and early, followed by his countryman, Duval, in the Mustang. It's a big car, that one, when you see it in person. And there is Wilk, rounding out the field in P15 in the Lancer Evo. Chris, this is going to be a good one.
Top 2 on softs, then we've got 3rd to 7th on mediums, 8th to 10th on hards, as you can see. So the top two have gone for soft. The plan for them, of course, break away early. Then we've got this big fight between 3rd to 7th, which are all going to be on the medium tyre. I imagine the likes of Wong, Mangano and Salazar hoping to pick up the pieces from any incidents that may happen early doors. Well, this is it, semi-final B. We're going to find out another 6 drivers who will be going through to the finals at the end of this one. 11 laps ahead of us. And once again, they must use all 3 compounds of tyre, the racing hard, medium and soft. Tyre wear at 14 times. Chicane of death awaits. Yoshida will lead us down there first. Here we go. Let's get ready to go racing for the second time this weekend. Shogo Yoshida there in the Porsche out front. Karatsa just behind, also on soft tyres. That's the green light and we are away and racing. Yoshida then leading us down to the first corner. Karatsa in second place. Kogiben in third. Then it's Rubelar in fourth. Mikao Hizao is 5th place. Let's hope for a nice clean start. Yoshida running perhaps a little bit wide mid-corner, but overall it's a steady start from all drivers as they make their way then down the straight. Here we go, Yoshida still leading the way. Karatsa still in second place. No changes early on. There they go through the chicane. Oh, and Yoshida clipping the wall already. I think Kokiben did the same, his countryman. But other than that, I don't see any instance where Karatsa's under a lot of pressure in second place, which is not good news considering he's on those soft tyres, Jimmy.
Yeah, Kokiben there looking to try and gain places nice and early. In third position right now behind Karatsa. Karatsa maybe qualified a little bit above what he expected right now. Let's see if he can handle it in a race situation. He has the Asia-Oceania champion breathing down his neck in that V12 Vantage. Something we know about that Vantage is that it is very fast in a straight line, so maybe we'll wait until the straight to see him attack. Meanwhile, Nico Rubelar behind him is, is he over the back of Kokiben? Maybe we'll go to the left here, try and overtake. No, stays behind for now, which allows Yoshida in front to make a little bit of a gap. But bear in mind, of course, Karatsa is on the soft tyres. In the background, looks like Kokiben's actually lost a position there to Rubelar. So Rubelar's got past nice and quickly. Yeah. And now Mick Hazal wants a piece of the action as well. Yeah, Kokiben ran wide there, just off screen. So Kokiben running wide, and that's basically just handed the place to Rubelar. Now, Pierre Lemoire's gone on the soft tyres, started way down the field in 13th place. He's already up to 10th. That a brave strategy from him. Rubelar, is he going to defend here from Kokiben as they head down the straight? As you said, Kokiben very quick in a straight line, and he's through to third place. Nick Hizal going through to fourth place. So 2 regional champions going into third and fourth there, Jimmy. But here we are then. They're going to go 2 by 2 up to the chicane of death. And look at that VW in a straight line. Nowhere near as fast there as the BMW. You can't go 2 by 2 through here. Mick has to pull back into the toe of the BMW. I think leaves a wing mirror there behind the wall. Very close to that indeed. But you see, that is essentially like a sorting zone. You have to get in line through there. In the background, I think that was Jack Lamblore who tried to have a move on his. Oh, and Latkovsky is going to take both down at the bottom there. Latkovsky forced into the wall, and that will be a terrible start to his race, and he's going to be now just a steam trained by the cars behind. Mangano goes through as well, as does Jonathan Wong. So Latkovsky down to 9th position. Well, it's a shame we didn't pick up the start of that. We only saw the kind of aftermath of it. Rubelar here hassling Kokiben once again. This is where he picked up the place last time around. Can he do the same? The Chilean switchback trying out the left-hander, but this time Kokiben a much better run through there. Nevertheless, though, Rubelar's going to try once again for third place here. Rubelar, can he get the move done as they come up to the chicane? Pulls out for now, so Rubelar stays where he is for the time being, but Nico are there hassling Kokiben once again for third place. In the background, we've got Hizao and Yat Lamblore, who's made a good start to this race, but we go back to Rubelar, and I think he's about to try a move going down to T1. Look at the speed there, though, that Aston Martin V12, just about managing to keep the BMW there on the inside, but Rubelar does have the inside line and goes past nice and easily up into third position there. And Kokiben behind there just keeping in. Maybe I'll say his name right at some point. I've been trying very hard for the amount of time we've seen him on screen, but he's attacking now. Rubelar coming into the chicane, won't try anything, but you can see just how close he's getting to the back of that BMW. He is not ready to settle for fourth position. Good to see good clean racing from these two guys. Now, Pierre Lemoire did try the soft tyre. It has not worked for him at all. He's actually dropping places now down to 11th as Rubelar, the one to run a little bit wide this time. Jonathan Wong
has come under investigation for colliding with another car. Let's go through your top 10. It's Yoshida, Karatsa, Rubala, Kokibun, Hizao, Lamlaw, Latkovsky, McMillan, Wong and Salazar. That is the top 10 as it stands. The top 6 of those will go through. Adam Wilk in the drop zone at the moment. Unfortunately, he will be going home at this stage.
Interesting story about Adam Wilk, because he actually overtook his brother in the Repechage event to get here, essentially.
That was a brilliant race as well.
He overtook his brother, forced him out, and he went through. So right now there's another Wilk sitting at home with probably a little bit of animosity
Mixed
there.
emotions.
Here is Hizao. He did get past Jack Lamlaw, but now the Hong Kong driver is all over the back of Mick Hizao, who I think it's fair to say is struggling a little bit as Law gets on the curb there on the outside. Big raised curbs around here. If you try and throw the car over there too enthusiastically, you might end up having a little bit of sideways action. Meanwhile, Karatsa into the pits, onto the medium tyres.
Was that unexpected, do you think? Or?
It's interesting to see the trend being set. So I think that, again, Karatsa, like we've seen in a couple of other races, people who start on the soft try and save the hard tyre for the end and then defend track position. Grady coming in, he actually goes onto the soft tyre, so this is going to be Grady's quick stint. He's currently down in 13th position, so he'll be at the moment in the repechage. Here is Hizao and Lamlaw, and back to our leader Yoshida, who goes very wide there, down at the bottom, understeer. You could hear the tyres giving up essentially, and he tried to turn the Porsche 911 RSR into the left-hander, and that's allowed Rubala and the Kokibun behind to get back into the action.
Well, Yoshida actually struggled in practice yesterday, but overnight he has found some pace. So Yoshida going along very well today. Kokibun only used the medium tyres in practice yesterday. That's all he wanted to do, get to grips with the medium tyre, which suggested he was going to start on those. And Kokibun, that practice has paid off. He's in 3rd place with Rubala. They seem to be working together now to close in leader Yoshida, who may have left it a lap too late to come into the pits here. So I think Karatsa came in at the perfect time. Yoshida has certainly stayed out a lap too late.
I think that might be the case. He's going to pit in now, of course, and probably go on to the medium tyres to try and maintain that pace. But as you said, look at this gap now. Chris is coming right down, under half a second now. And I think it's Rubala and Kokibun. They're both going to come in, I think, as... Or is it? No, okay. Rubala went, that was an oval racing style thing there. Pretended to come into the pits, went nope, and then suddenly pulled out to the right, and he's going to go around for one more lap. Now, Lamlaw going onto the hard tyres, as is Latkovsky. Yoshida going onto the medium, so he's going to go for a quicker middle stint than the cars around him. But Kokibun, of course, with the soft tyres still yet to be used, same as Hizao, they're now going to be very quick in 4th and 5th position. So let's see how that pans out.
Rubala, the only driver on track yet to come into the pits, hence why he has a 10-second lead. Karatsa, of course, let's see how he's done on these medium tyres. Is he going to be in the lead when Rubala comes into the pits, or has Rubala pulled out a master stroke and will he come out in the lead? Let's find out. Kokibun down the inside of Yoshida here. He goes through to 3rd, but Yoshida wouldn't have had the plan to fight that too hard. He is on the medium tyre, so Kokibun up to 3rd, now trying to chase down Karatsa, who's on that medium tyre just ahead. We should expect Rubala to come in on this lap. We've got, well, a variety of different strategies going on here. Once again, the semi-final race is being hard to follow.
Now, of course, Rubala at the head of the field has essentially had a clean lap. But he is losing time to Karatsa and Kokibun. And we're saying that Yoshida coming straight back at Kokibun now, down to the left-hander, obviously not happy with staying in 4th position, even though he is on the lesser grippy tyre. Again, about 1.2 seconds, 1.5 seconds between the tyres around. So that's what our strategist thinks down there on the virtual pit wall, I should say. And in comes Rubala. Now, gap was 8.4 seconds when he came into the pit lane. That was about half a second or so less than it was at the start of the lap. Let's see where he comes out. So coming out now, he's on to the softer tyre, it seems, looking for a faster middle stint, and then Karatsa, Kokibun and Yoshida go through. Sorry, Hizao goes through as well. So Rubala there really losing out. He's gone down to 5th position, and he has to get up into the top block all over again. Here comes Kokibun to the inside of the chicane of death. Thinks better of it, doesn't want to fancy himself into the chicane, and drops back in behind Karatsa. For now, Chris,
Yeah, I was going to say, right, I will if you're going to try that. Cockybun down the inside, though. That's him about to take the lead of the race. So Cockybun, easy as you like, lined it up through the chicane of death. And Cockybun is now into the race lead. Karatsa, of course, on those medium tyres, will probably lose a place to Mick Hizal.
Yep, so we're going to talk about tyre strategy in a second, but here comes Mick Hizal. Karatsa drives past him like he is standing still. Our European regional champion moves up into second position and is now in direct competition with the Asia-Oceania regional champion.
There's been an incident involving Latkovsky and Wilkes somewhere. Latkovsky's dropped right down the field to 14th, and both drivers are under investigation, so we'll see if anything comes of that, but it certainly looks like Wilkes got away the better of the two after the incident took place. Now Yoshida is there in 4th place, hassling the back of Karatsa at the moment, and Karatsa goes defensive. Rubelar's about to make his 1st place back after his pit stop. He goes into 3rd place, does he, in one hit? Yes,
wow.
He does. So the Chilean up to 3rd place. Karatsa looks like he's under pressure of losing 4th place here from Yoshida. Yoshida to the inside. I think he's got the right. That's the two leaders now side by side. The two regional champions. Hizal goes down the inside of Cockybun, and that is the lead of the race taken.
What a story this is. Our two regional champions scrapping for the lead here in the first semi-final. Cockybun, though, is not done. Hizal came from about a second back and overtook the Japanese driver into T1. Now Mick Hizal is awake. We thought he was struggling a bit at the start. He's now where he wants to be, out front. Watch him now. This is what he prefers. Just like Igor Fraga, he likes to lead from the front, but he's got possibly the biggest challenger he could have behind him right now. Ryoto Cockybun, of course, behind there is Yoshida and Karatsa. You might be thinking, why are these guys pulling away so much from the rest of the field? They're on the soft tyre. The tyre is the fastest round here right now, and because they've got clean air, they can use that soft tyre pretty much to its best advantage. So the best thing for them to do right now would not be to fight. You try telling racing drivers that.
Yeah, never going to happen. I think a guy doing very well is Yatlam Law. He's on the hard tyre there in 5th place, so he's on his long stint at the moment. And is that him actually having just gained a place? I'm not too sure if that was just Yatlam Law, but he's there in 5th place. Sorry, and Yatlam Law. I think he was briefly passed by Rubelar, and then it went back. I'm not too sure, but on those hard tyres, he's getting his long stint out of the way as such. And here we go. I think our two leaders are going to come into the pits together.
Oh, wow. And the Aston pushing the VW into the pit and saying, hurry up, son, I've got some tyres to put on this thing. Hizal, I think, will just about come out in front of Cockybun because the pit stops are of the same length. But it's going to be very close. Here is your pit exit. And it looks like, let's see, there is Hizal just in front of the Aston Martin. And now it is a straight fight between the two drivers, both on hard tyres. The guys in front all have to pit just yet. So, again, just like the last round, you have to use every compound of tyres in this race. That is a rule. If you don't do that, you will be disqualified. And right now, these are the guys in the best position, 5th and 6th, with all their pit stops done and dusted.
Yeah, through the chicane they go. Cockybun, you can see in the background, we're on board with Mick Hizal. We can see he drops now down. If you look to the bottom right of your screen, we can see him dropping down to 2nd, then up to 3rd very quickly. And now they make their way back uphill. In the background, we can see Salazar and Mangano as well. They are very close together, both on the medium tyre at the moment, but yet to make their 2nd stop.
He's got him on screen, Chris. He's looking like there is nothing on the line, Hizal. He's just sitting back there driving about 120 beats per minute there on the old heart monitor, a bit less than that. When I drive, I nearly die. This guy's sitting out, yeah, okay, just going for a bit, a mild jog at the moment is this race. Of course, still has a Japanese driver hot on his heels. Importantly, Chris, I've said this before, this car is a rocket, the Aston, a rocket in a straight line. And what have we got coming up? Big old straight.
So Cockybun, basically, wait for the straight, wait for the penultimate lap if you're in the battle for, say it comes to the win, wait for that last lap and just breeze past going down towards T1. Easier said than done, of course. Yatlam Law in 4th place, so making more places to driver from Hong Kong with pit stops going on around him, but he now comes into the pits, as does Karatsa. So 2 drivers in to make their 2nd stops. Mangano in as well, McMillan likewise, Salazar. It's a very busy pit lane, and we've got drivers going on softs here for the last stint in Mangano, Law, Salazar and McMillan. So Hizal we can see in 3rd place. Kokibun in 4th place. Karatsa 5th. There is Mick Hizal. As we said, European Regional Final Champion at the moment. He's put some distance between himself and Kokibun, which I imagine would mean a mistake has been made by the Japanese driver somewhere.
It hasn't. That's the thing, Chris. He's just pulled away. I think maybe he was cruising a bit, but here are people who are not cruising right now. Wong and Karatsa coming down to the left-hander at the bottom of the hill. And Wilk there with a 2-second penalty for colliding with another car. At the moment, at this moment in time, he would have gone through to the repechage, but with that penalty, it's looking very unlikely for the Australian to progress beyond this. So here comes Karatsa coming back down the hill now, just about leading off from Wong. Both are right now through to the final, but of course, every position means more valuable points for the last rounds. Karatsa goes defensive there, coming over the crest of the hill, now back down. He'll break a little bit early because you've got gravity not on your side down here. Wong goes to the inside, side by side with the BMW M6. He does have the inside line here, still just for now, will do for the left of the chicane coming up, but not for the right hand. It doesn't matter, Jonathan Wong is through, and Yoshida, our leader, into the pits for his final stop.
Yep, we need to still see Rubelar in, and he's in. So, right, this is the time now we know who is where on track and who is in the danger zone to not make it through. Mick Hizal into the race lead. Kokibun second. Yoshida has emerged in third. Wong in fourth. Well, in fact, Rubelar, sorry, comes out in, well, it's changing every second. Wong is fourth. Karatsa is fifth. Yatlam Law is sixth. Rubelar is seventh. So, Rubelar in the drop zone at the moment. He is unfortunately going through to the repechage at this stage, and he's on the hard tyre with Yatlam Law on the soft tyre. So Rubelar in trouble at the moment. Here we can see a battle for fourth going on though, so this may help. And Nico are coming towards the end of the race. Jonathan Wong in fourth, and in the background Yatlam Law dives down the inside of Karatsa. Can he get it stopped in time? Yes, he can. So Yatlam Law into fifth place, but we've got to keep an eye on Rubelar and Anthony Deval, who is on the soft tyre in 8th place, trying to fight for a top 6 spot and a place in the World Final.
Deval started down the back of the grid, but he's now worked his way up into 8th position. So the drivers in front of him are on the harder compound of tyre. He is on the soft compound. He is the one to watch, and he is very much threatening to break into the top 6 and get that automatic qualification spot for the grand final. Right now, Jonathan Wong is leading this little group. Wong from Yatlam Law, Karatsa behind, Rubelar behind him. A mistake from a Chilean a bit earlier on saw him drop down the order, and Deval behind them. Meanwhile, a great battle here forming for 9th, 10th and 11th place. Latkowski coming back through the field after an earlier incident there. McMillan, our GT Academy winner in the Beetle, just about keeping them off for now, but we're told the Beetle isn't too hot in a straight line, so watch out when your mirrors hit McMillan. Here comes Salazar, and here comes Latkowski.
Yeah, but it's the battle for fourth we really need to be focusing on, isn't it? McMillan, I think, almost threatening to dive into the pits, which wouldn't be a good idea because he's made his 2 stops already. But this is the main focus on track. This, the battle for the final space in the final automatic qualification, going to the top 6 drivers here, and Karatsa in that 6th place. However, he's on hot tyres. Rubelar is as well in 7th, but Anthony Deval in 8th is not. He seems to be dropping away at the moment, so I don't know if he's put those soft tyres on too early, but we'll keep an eye on that. Nevertheless, Karatsa and Rubelar are both on hard tyres, so it's a head-to-head between those, and it could become a 4-way battle with Wong and Law just ahead. This is the final lap of the race. At the moment, Hizal, Kokibun, Yoshida all safe, but Jonathan Wong in 4th is not at this stage. Yatlam Law in 5th likewise. Karatsa, of course, as well, and Karatsa is starting to go defensive from Rubelar. Here he is defending through the right hand of Rubelar, trying to find a way through. He wants to go through automatically in this race. He does not want to face a repechage as they go down to the left-hander, and I think he could be through. He's trying to go around the outside, but Karatsa...
Rubelar round! He spun it on the curb there, and there goes the Chilean's chance of automatic qualification. But Chris, it's Mick Hizal who will come down the straight in the VW to take the win in the second semi-final. What a race there by Mick Hizal. Kokibun there will come home in second. Our 2 regional champions second and third. Yoshida in 3rd place, sorry, but here comes Jonathan Wong. He's just about defending from Yatlam Law. They come home in 4th and 5th. Karatsa 6th. He takes the last automatic place, and Deval, all the way from the back of the field, comes up to 7th.
There was a close fight for 14th as well. Pierre Lemoire just about managed to get away from Grady, who had some problems somewhere on the last lap, and here is Grady. He is going to crawl up to the line, and he is unfortunately out of the competition. But Mick Kizao, Ryoto Kokibun, Shogo Yoshida, Jonathan Wong, Yat Lam Law, and Adriana Carazza, we will see you in the finals. They all go through. There you can see your top 3 just getting a photo. All of them, of course, are through, along with 4th, 5th, and 6th.
And again, Mick just doesn't look like anything's happened. He's like, yep, okay. We've won that race. That's good. A great start for him, of course. Points early on, really strong for the campaign. You need to be getting all the points you can. And Mick and Ryoto, perfect pretty much for them almost.
Yeah.
I mean, I take a second from that.
Yeah, with 10 points going to Mick Kizao. Second place, Kokibun takes 9 points. Of course, Yoshida takes 8 points, finishing 3rd. Finishing 4th, Wong takes 7 points. 6 points it is for Law, and Carazza gets 5 points, finishing in 6th place. So he takes that last space going into the automatic sport, to go through to the finals. And now we're looking at some replays.
Yeah, here's some free wide action from earlier on. You see that Kossi coming off the loser, and unfortunately didn't quite get out of that one. He's looking a little bit upset there in the top right-hand corner. Here comes Yoshida, his mistake earlier on. Understeered at the bottom of the hill, you can see there from the camera, and doesn't look like much went on there, but I can imagine some swear words going on probably inside the head of his. Here comes the Kokibon in the Aston Martin, going past his compatriot up the hill there. Good race from Kokibon. Didn't start that high up, but managed to work his way as the race went on. And here he is there, passing down into the left hand. He liked passing there.
Yeah, he made a few moves there, and then Hizao, this was his move for the lead and the eventual race win as well in towards turn number 1. A nice clean move on Kokibun. Carazza, that was the moment he defended 6th place, and that was the moment Rubilar's chances of going through to the finals went away. But of course, he will have the repechage. All the drivers finishing 7th through to 14th will have the chance to qualify once again in the repechage, which will be coming up later. So your top 6, Hizao, Kokibun, Yoshida, Wong, Law, and Carazza. And then, of course, going into the repechage, we have the likes of Anthony Deval, Salazar, Rubilar, McMillan, Mangano, Latkovsky, Wilk, and Pierre Lemoire. Despite that strategy that didn't really pay off with him going on the softs early, something happened to Grady on the last lap because he dropped 9 seconds back from Lemoire. He is out of the competition along with Jacob Gertz.
Well, provisionally out of the competition, but saying that there was actually an investigation between Lemoire and Grady because that's why he lost so much time. There was an incident there. We didn't see it on camera. So that might not be the end of Martin Grady's story, but we'll keep you guys updated. You'll know when we know. But otherwise, Chris, great to see our 2 regional finalists battle it out. That's exactly what I came here for.
Yeah, and of course, at some point, we're going to see them go head-to-head then with Igor Fraga. All 3 of them have gone through. And then come the finals, of course, on Sunday, all 3 of them are going to go head-to-head. So that's going to be pretty interesting.
Just showing their talent, showing why they are some of the best drivers in the world. And there was action all up and down the field. Sorry if we missed any of it. It's hard to keep it all in track when you have so much awesome stuff going on screen. I've got to say, my driver of the race is probably Jonathan Wong. I didn't, not to take anything away from the Hong Kong drive, but a 4th place, really strong result for him.
Yeah, Jonathan Wong and Yat Lam Law both sort of seemed to be together most of the race, and both going through, and they were literally side by side going across the line as well. Great racing throughout both semi-finals. Tyre strategy was a big thing though, as we expected.
Yep, unfortunately. But we're going to be going to the all seasons recap. We'll get back to tyres a bit later on. Let's look at the recap.
Hello and welcome to the FIA-Certified Gran Turismo Championships.
10 drivers will be selected from the Asia-Oceania regions during the FIA-Certified GT Championships Nations Cup Regional Final.
Yoshida again, slow way through 130R, looks to the inside, and wham, bam, thank you, man. Yamanaka up into third position, and a round of applause there from the crowd. Look at the traction out of there. Off the Toyota goes past like the Porsche is standing still. That's hybrid power.
Ryoto Kokibun is going to be the deserved champion in the Asia-Oceania region.
Hello and
welcome to Madrid. Welcome to the FIA Gran Turismo Championships European Finals. Machado down the inside of Barder. Does he make the move stick? Yes, he does.
And now we're 3 wide, 4 wide going down the straight. I've never seen anything like this, Tom. Here we go.
Michael is out, takes the win, and becomes the 2018 FIA Gran Turismo European Champion.
Oh no! He's going to take. Oh well.
Portilla and Karatsu came across, and just look what it meant for our drivers. How about this for a reaction? That is a man who was very happy to get through to the finals, Chris.
Igor Fraga is your America's regional champ.
Well, just a quick update. While we had the break there was the investigation. Nothing came of it, essentially. So Grady is unfortunately out of the competition at this stage. Let's look at the standings once again from that race. Now they are confirmed. Hizao, Kokiban, Yoshida, Wong, Yatlam Law, Karatsa all going through to the finals. And then we had drivers through 7th to 14th. Pierre Lemoire taking the last spot in the repechage there. Grady, unfortunately, out. Of course, they have been scoring points. The top 6 have all been awarded points throughout those races, which is going to go to their whole campaign, which will be carried over to Sunday as well. And then when we have the repechage, there'll be points scored as well. But we'll go into a little bit more of that. Let's now go back to Matt and Julia.
Wow. I mean, if ever there was a race to have a discussion about tyre usage, it was that. Like, look at Rubelar, like all of his choices, and I thought I was ahead, and then, yeah, it just didn't kind of pay off in the long term.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know, you guys at home, were you right? Did you pick the right choice, whatever it was you went for? As the guy said, once again, it proved crucial, as it always does, and there's plenty more where that came from.
Shock, I feel quite stressed after all that.
I feel a little bit bad for the guys who've lost out at this competition. Just seeing the sort of the review there, the different places where they've all come from. You know, some people have to go home, and there's some more to come as well, unfortunately, today.
Well, let's take a look at what you guys are thinking at home. So we had, we're talking about, the question was, what would be your tyre strategy? So medium, hard, then soft. Keep the fastest for the last and ensure enough lead with the medium. Yes, Jimmy, the chicane of death has caught on. Well, I should hope so. Don't forget to keep your comments coming in on FIA, GTC and GT Sport as the hashtags. Let's take a quick look at the schedule. What remains of the day? That's like a weird film reference, oddly. We've got one more race for you. Remains of the day, obviously.
I've never seen it, sorry.
No, neither have I just know the name. So we've got one more race for the rest of the day, which is the repechage race, which is kind of like the last chance saloon for some of these guys.
Yeah, it really is, and there's going to be a few more of these guys who are getting their ticket home, unfortunately, in the repechage race. It's all going to take place at our third track of the weekend, and it's a track with great history, the Red Bull Ring in Spielberg in Austria. It's been hosting Formula One on and off since 1970. Of course, formerly the Österreich-Ring and the A1 Ring. It used to wind up and around the foresty hillsides there around Spielberg. It's a stunning venue. It's been completely updated, of course, with the huge investment that Red Bull have put into it. Fantastic facility right now. Not the most complicated circuit layout, but it always lends itself to great racing, especially through the final couple of sectors, a couple of right-handers to finish off the lap that just tempt the drivers in to a last-minute lunge. Plenty of elevation change as well. As I said, it's right at the bottom of a mountain, and you can just literally see it as it starts to climb up there. The highest point, that's where the track used to disappear up into the forest and then come back down again. Now vastly reduced to 4.318 kilometers. But as I said, lends itself to great racing. Doesn't work the tires too hard either. And strategy in this one is going to be absolutely crucial. Once again, as we said before, well, I suppose strategy. The strategy is there is no strategy, to be fair.
Well, it's just, you know, it's just got best driver wins.
Yeah, exactly. So the guys are all on hard tyres. There's no pit stop in this one. 3 times wear as well. So when I say strategy, yeah, there's not a strategy in choosing your tyres, but how you use them is going to be key to see who's got the grip at the end of this race.
Well, I mean, obviously, so tyres are kind of a little bit out, well, they are out of the equation for this one. Let's take a look at the particular type of cars they're going to be racing on in this particular race.
Yeah, Group 4 cars. So basically these are cars that correspond to the FIA GT4 class. Essentially these are race cars with basic performance enhancements, plenty of power, excellent handling, all manner of drivetrains available. So that will have an effect, of course, on tyre wear. And essentially, that's what the guys have to take into account. Some front-wheel drive, mid-engine. There's a real combination. Four-wheel drives as well. There's a real combination of things here. So that's going to be the key thing, I think, to look out for when we see that tyre wear at the end of the race.
Definitely. So if you guys haven't seen any of the Repechage races so far, you are in for such a treat, because this is where it starts to get a little bit scrappy, a little bit jostly.
Bit of a goer, you said before, didn't you?
Bit of a goer it is, because this is their last chance to make it through to the Sunday finals. So, well, let's put them out of their misery. Let's chuck over to the commentators for our final race of today.
Best of luck, guys.
Well, everyone, as Julia said, last chance saloon. This is it, Jimmy. I think we both agree. I think everyone agrees. These are usually they're the best races, let's be honest, because it's your fight, your last chance to get through, and it's all or nothing. That's the approach you've got to take.
Yeah, it's just a fight for survival. If you are not in the top 4 when the checkered flag comes out, that's it. Your competition is over. And we have some big names in there as well. And you've got Zaswillo in there, Latkovsky in there as well. Lenoir, of course, didn't perform so well in the last race. So really is going to be a massive scrap. And, I mean, I think the best Repechage race we saw was at this track, albeit in Group B rally cars. Not quite the same as a GT4 car, but still great to watch nonetheless. So, our drivers just getting prepared now at the moment down there. So just a couple of bits getting sorted out down there. But in the meantime, we have a great bit of video for you. These are our top 5 mistakes from our drivers from this season. See if you agree.
And Blajan has had a shocker here as well. What's happened here to Patrick Blajan? He was 4th at this point, down in turn 5. Did he have a spin coming out of here? He got onto the curb, he was off as well, he was offline, and he spun it round for good measure there as well.
Coming into T1, he's just about there on the inside. Baines has to take a very tight line, slows up his exit, and Carretta is off. I think he just got run out of track there. I'm not sure if he was helped off or not. We'll have to look for a replay. An Australian guy in the chat. I'm sure you're hoping that Holland with a big lunge up the inside. And then contact behind. Three-way contact there.
Well, it was an instant, wasn't it? Let's see. It was just him running wide. Oh, and he spun. And he took Felix out. Oh, no.
Here comes Rubelar.
Just say what you think's not going to happen, and then you'll probably...
Oh, no!
Well,
that is huge.
Oh, and he's going to take... Oh, well, I thought Portillo was going to go into the back of him. Rubelar, he can't believe it. He spun going in to the pit lane, and he's going to drop all the way to the back of the field. Guns has nowhere to go. Smashes straight into the back of him.
I got a bit scared there, Jimmy, because when it's the top 5 mistakes, I thought it was going to be us.
Yeah, just be essentially just a B-roll of us being terrible for the entire time. But I think I agree with number 1. I think I face-palmed for Rubelar there when he made that mistake. Such an amateur mistake to make. And of course, he seemed like he didn't really care about it at the time, but I think he might have done. I think he might have got a bit of slack for that.
He had his back to the screen just there. I could see he was looking the other way. Fingers in his ears like, oh, well, it didn't happen. We could probably add to that list after this race, potentially, because Repechages always provide mistakes. And this one, as you said, we're on the racing hard tyre around Red Bull Ring in Group 4 cars. What do you think of the cars that could potentially be going out there? I know you were having a chat to some of the drivers yesterday about some of the Group 4 cars.
Well, I was actually going to say before we get into that, of course, we had Lewis Hamilton here earlier talking to our drivers, which was great to have him here, of course. And something you said earlier, he was saying, don't let the pressure get to you. But what if the pressure is you going through to the finals in this last Repechage race? I'm not sure I could keep cool. And those who are able to do so out there will, of course, I think, come good at the end. But yeah, as we said, let's talk about the cars, Group 4 cars. Kind of unique in the way we have a lot of different drivetrains. Some cars out there, front-wheel drive, the Audi and the VW Cherokee, so front-wheel drive FF. We also have MR, FR, and of course the four-wheel drive cars. Now we're going to pop through some highlights from race 1. As you can see, here is Portilla and Gallen having a big fight there, coming down that great T11, and saw a lot of action down there. Yamanaka getting a 2-for-1 down the corner. Some think a little bit aggressive. I just think opportunistic.
Yeah, you know, it was a deal going at the time, and he popped along and took it. That was Lopez, cool as ever. Another driver who looked very under control in that one. Here was Yamanaka making a move for 5th place. This was on Adam Sassuolo. Sassuolo would unfortunately lose out on a top 6 spot. That was Yamanaka whilst he was making the move. Yes, he made a move just there. Didn't look like it, did it? As he sat there in the rig, very calm as ever. This was Lopez then. He forced a mistake here, really, from Portia. Tried to sell him the dummy, almost went on the grass, and I think Portia looking in his mirrors too much and ran wide. Nevertheless, they'd all go through, of course, albeit with Portia slightly less points on the board. Fraga took the win. We had Lopez finishing in 2nd place, and a deserved 2nd place it was indeed, and that was him just showing his emotion after the race. That first race was a very good one around Lago Maggiore. Lots of tyre strategy. Of course, that's not going to be in the case that we have in the Repechage race coming up. We can just see the drivers now in the rigs getting ready to go for this one. Repechage, it'll be 12 laps, so plenty of time to go through. I think the key here, Jimmy, is to keep yourself in the fight, isn't it? Don't get involved in an incident early on. Don't fall back. Don't make any silly mistakes. Just keep in the fight. On lap number 12, you could be in with a chance.
You also have to take into account points here as well. There are points scored in the Repechage, albeit, of course, less than going through in the first round. So even if you are in the top 4, it counts to be higher up in position. So it's 4 points for the winner, 3 for 2nd, 2 for 3rd, and then 1 for our last place. We have some big names in here, which kind of makes expectations just a little bit difficult, frankly. Again, we have Sassuolo, we have Rublar, we have Mangano in here as well, Macmillan, Chirikara, and of course our 2nd place driver from the Americas regional finals, McCabe as well. So we have some big names in this Repechage event. Only 4 of them are going to go through. So there's going to be an upset somewhere.
Yep, so we've got the likes of Rublar and Sassuolo. They'll be starting right at the head of the field. Latkovsky and Brooks will be just behind them. We have Mangano and Salazar, Holland and Pagenet, Macmillan and De Jesus. Then it will be Chirikara and Lenoir, Duval, McCabe, Skaruda and Wilk. We now know the cars they're going to be in as well. Jimmy, why don't you talk us through some of those?
You've got a couple of cars to go through here. I won't go through the entire list, but I can tell you, of course, that the most popular drivetrain seems to be the FR towards the front of the grid. So front engine, rear-wheel drive. However, there's a Huracan there in 4 position. That's Mr. Brooks. He's in the Lambo, 4-wheel drive. We also have a Cayman GT4 Club Sport, which is MR in the dash from Rublar, who will be leading our field. And we're about to head in to the race and the deciding round. The 16 of our drivers, does their story end here? Let's find out.
Well, for 12 of them, it unfortunately will. Of course, grid was decided off qualifying. That happened yesterday, so that qualifying, it was that crucial that it's even decided the grid for this race. Right, let's get into it. This is the Repechage, last chance to qualify, and on pole position will be Nicolas Rublar, the Chilean. Then we have the British driver Adam Sassuolo just behind. That is a big front row indeed. Starting from 3rd place, Cody Nicola Latkovsky, the Australian in the Chevrolet Corvette. Then we have Andrew Brooks, the Canadian driver, starts from 4th place. Then it is Giorgio Mangano, of course, GT World Tour winner back at Nürburgring. Carlos Salazar, the only Portuguese driver in the Nations Cup, he starts from 6th place. Does the dream for the Portuguese driver carry on? Daniel Holland is going to start from 7th place. In 8th place, it will be Florian Pagenet, the French driver in the Aston Martin V8 Vantage. Nick Macmillan, the American, starts 9th place in the Nissan. What a car for Nick to drive it. I think that goes very well for him. Joseph De Jesus starts from 10th place in the Volkswagen. Then it'll be Yuki Chirikara in the Mitsubishi, starting from 11th. Pierre Lenoir, a bit of work to do in 12th place. He is in the McLaren. 13th place, it is Anthony Duval in the Toyota. So French drivers 12th and 13th. Then we have Andrew McCabe in 14th in the Audi TT. Could be one to watch, let's find out. Chase Karuda is in the Renault. He starts in 15th place. And at the back of the field, it is Adam Wilk in the Alfa Romeo. So 12 laps ahead of us. We are at the Red Bull Ring on the Racing Hard Tyres in Group 4 class. This is the Repechage. The top 4 go through. The rest of the drivers are out.
Yep, 12 drivers already through to our grand final. 4 more places remain and 16 drivers are going to be fighting for them. If you've just joined, you've joined at the right time. This is the Repechage, and if history is anything to go by in this competition, this is going to be an absolute barnstormer. Rublar there will lead our field round through and through the last corner, but he has Adam Sassuolo behind, Latkowski behind him, and Brooks there, and of course Giorgio Mangano, who actually won the Repechage race here recently in Group B cars, ever looming in 5th position. So coming round the last corner now, this is your last chance. Fight for survival, gentlemen, make it a good one. Here comes Nikawa to take the starting flag. Wait for that countdown. There it is, 3, 2, 1, and we are away for the Repechage event here. The Chilean leading there from the British driver Adam Sassuolo. Latkowski 3rd, Brooks 4th, Linus Stern coming up to T1. A good pace to overtake a bit later on in the race, but for now the car's parked for Rublar, already a little bit wide there on T1. Don't go too much wider, Nico. You might end up with a penalty. Now, long straights here, so slipstream is going to be everything. You have to position your car. It's like a very high-speed game of chess, this. Let's see who the Grand Master is. What will Sassuolo do? Will he go for the move? No, stays in behind. In the background, though, one of the Aston Martins diving up the inside. That's Pagenet up into 7th place as well. So good start from the Frenchman, although back down to 8th. Holland's not having any of that. Rublar still on the inside defending. Top 6 cars all together. Clean start so far, but I don't think it's going to stay that way, Chris.
Yes, Sassuolo there challenging for the lead. It's worth noting that points are awarded in this race. 4 points to the winner, 1 point to the driver who takes the 4th and final spot. So, and then I think we had a bit of an incident. Daniel Holland looked to be delayed coming out of turn 3 here. We can now go in towards turn 5 for the first time. Sassuolo almost defending there from Latkowski. Then it is Brooks, Mangano and Salazar. So Salazar, another driver who went through in a Repechage at this very track not long ago. So Salazar, I think, will be confident and fired up for this one. But it's 6 in it at the moment. 4 places available. 2 will miss out at this stage, but don't count out the likes of McMillan and De Jesus. They're 7th and 8th. Pagenet in 9th. Holland in 10th place as we now come round the final corner. And Brooks
going?
See you later. He's in a different postcode as he runs wide at the final corner, and he's surely going to drop to 6th place. Well, in fact, he's got a penalty, so he will drop to 6th place.
Here comes Mangano on the inside there, and Salazar 3 wide to T1. They back out of it and they go through line of Stern. Brooks very wide there in the 4-wheel drive Hurricane. 4-wheel drive in that car isn't made for rallying there, Mr. Brooks. Make sure to keep it in between the white lines, but he's going to have a 1.1 second penalty, which will be served just after T2, and that will allow Salazar and Mangano through. Salazar goes to the inside in the Group 4 Veyron. Wouldn't want to crash that one. That'd be a big repair bill. So work goes wide again. You can see the 2 dots, yellow markers there on the side of the road. That's where the penalty marker is. Bam, slows down, gets off the racing line, and look how much momentum he loses. Down to 6th place. Here comes McMillan through as well in the GTR. So down to 7th for Brooks. Meanwhile, Rublar still leading at the front from Sassuolo, and Latkowski is getting very feisty there behind the British driver.
There was a challenge for 4 from Mangano there, but I don't think it's paid off, and you probably would have noticed he's now dropped back a few tenths. So a challenge that hasn't paid off, and it's cost Mangano about 4 tenths of a second. Now, I think Sassuolo and Latkowski perhaps are going to be a little bit patient here. They've broken away along with Rublar thanks to the fact that Brooks did run wide and then pick up that penalty. Salazar and Mangano, meanwhile, well, what's their tactics going to be? Because Mangano's going to want that 4th place. However, Salazar is in it. Does he defend at this stage, or does he just try and drive his own race? Jimmy, what do you think?
It's a bit of a tricky one. Right now, of course, we're very, very early on in this race, and we've seen some other Repechage events. The positions are nowhere near guaranteed, not until the checkered flag falls, of course, and even then there might be a little bit of drama. But Salazar is ahead of Mangano right now. And of course, Mangano is one of the drivers that we kind of expect to be towards the sharp end of the field, just from previous performances and general consensus between the drivers. But right now, if the race ended at right this second, he would be out of the finals. Only the top 4 drivers going through. You can see there, no penalty, no further action there for the incident between Holland and Pagenet.
And once again, Jimmy, what about if you're, in fact, we've got some changes going on. That's McMillan defending.
No, he chucked it up the inside there, I think. Sorry, he kept it on the inside. No, you're right.
Brooks has gone past De Jesus, who's dropped a place to Pagenet as well. I don't know why he's defending, because at the moment he's going home, so he needs to get on with it, McMillan here. Now, I was going to ask you, what do you do if you're Sassuolo and Latkovsky? Do you just stay where you are for the time being and wait to the... Oh, well, we have to come back to that. Salazar's ran wide on his own accord, and Mangano has gone through to 4th place there, so the pressure getting to Salazar, and that is bunching this battle up. It's now extended. It's a 4-way fight as McMillan and Brooks join the party.
An absolute gift there for Giorgio Mangano. Now he hasn't got to try and fight past Salazar, but that does not mean that the Portuguese driver is going to let him get away. In the background, Brooks and McMillan just come up through the field. All drivers on the hard compound of tyre. There is 3 times tyre wear, so the tyres will be pretty second-hand before the end of the race. Here's that mistake from Salazar again on board with Mangano. Yep, just gets onto the slippery stuff on the outside of the circuit. And Mangano throws out the inside. Sassuolo with a penalty. Okay, that's going to be huge for him, because Mangano, I think with that 1-second penalty, will probably get past him.
And I think that's running wide. I think it's similar to Brooks, perhaps ran wide at the final corner or the penultimate corner. Could have been either or, but what we do know as a result of whatever happened is Sassuolo now has a penalty, and as you have pointed out, will probably lose a place to Mangano, because it's not the time you lose in the penalty, it's the momentum that is the real cost.
I mean, even if he doesn't lose a place, look at the cars behind, they're all going to be on. Rubla, a little bit slow there out of T2. A little bit sideways. Now, there goes Sassuolo, and here comes the train. Sorry, Adam, mate, no ticket. And here comes Mangano, he's passed. Here comes Salazar, he's passed as well. And Sassuolo goes down to 5th position, but chucks out the inside Salazar, and just about survives in 4th position, stops on the apex. Salazar has nowhere to go, drives into the back of the British driver in the Mustang, and McMillan carries momentum. He's now side by side. GTR versus Veyron. Veyron just about keeps the GTR behind for now. This is why I love Gran Turismo. Look at all these different types of cars here. Fantastic. In the background, the Jesus in the front-wheel drive Scirocco coming through.
Yeah, De Jesus, the story of him, of course, we had Matt Simmons who couldn't make it to the event, so De Jesus was the next eligible driver to come through, and that's how he's got here to the World Finals. And at the moment, it's a bit of an outside bet to get into the finals on Sunday, but 9th place, he still has a chance. Here comes Brooks down the inside. Oh, well, that was a little bit over-optimistic from me. Brooks there literally forcing McMillan out of the way. What did you make of it?
I don't know. I mean, on one hand, he had the inside line. On the other hand, he did have contact, and I would put that on Brooks. But now, look, that's allowed all the cars behind just to get bunched up. And Pagenet there in the Aston Martin, another driver who's come good in the Repechage event before, still working his way up the grid. The front-wheel drive Scirocco behind, now side by side, coming up to T2 once again. Here comes De Jesus. Look at the straight line speed of that little Scirocco. Looks up the inside, front-wheel drive that thing. 3 wide into T2, and De Jesus is going to come out in front in 6th place. Here comes McMillan, though, on the inside. It's not over. McMillan is up into 6th. The acceleration of the GTR beating out the Scirocco, and now the Scirocco struggling to keep up with the Lambo. This is going to be chopping and changing the entire time, Chris. I'm not quite sure how we're going to keep up.
As much as I'm enjoying this battle, though, I have to say they're just letting the leaders get away here, and they're letting that crucial 4th place spot just disappear into the distance. So McMillan and De Jesus, they just need to stop this battle of pride and work together, because at the moment the 4th place is gone down the road. It is around 2 seconds clear. It's Sassuolo of McMillan who we're on board with now. Sassuolo himself has put some distance between himself and Salazar in 5th. As we go back on board, we can see De Jesus here just coming up the inside of McMillan. Is he going to be able to make this move stick? Well, we'll never know.
Gets it down, I think, up the inside. He was on the inside, and in the background we see on our timing, yes, Jesus does move up into 6th. Now, he seems to have pace in that Scirocco, but he got a little bit of a gap now between him and Salazar. A reminder, if you've just joined us, this is the Repechage event. The top 4 drivers will go through to the World Finals, the grand final of the world. Lots of finals going on. Everybody else, that's their competition over. So it really is a fight for survival right now. Leading that fight for survival at the moment is Nico R, Mr. Rubela in the Cayman. Here he is on screen.
And the gap between 4th and 5th, Jimmy, is coming down. It's now less than a second. Make that just over 1 second, but it's hovering. Oh, in fact, it's down to 7/10. I'm not too sure if Saswilla and Mangano are starting to fight here. I think they are. We can see them in the background. So Rubelar and Latkovsky, I think we can leave them where they are for now. It's safe to say that they... Oh, well, in fact, I thought they were going to be following each other around there. But Latkovsky had me very nervous for a second as he attempted what would have been a very ambitious move on Rubelar in the background. Salazar only half a second back from the fight, from third place now, and a place through to the finals on Sunday.
Now, Latkovsky, I think, perhaps garnered himself a little bit of a negative reputation after the Asia-Oceania regional finals, but he's very keen to shake that. I spoke to him before the races. He just wants to be aggressive and clean where he can be. And you see there, I think, learning from experience, actually backing out of the move there, going down to T3, thinking, no, I'll have another chance, I'll leave it this lap. Meanwhile, in the background, third and fourth are fighting now. This is a very difficult position for these guys to be in, because at the moment, if the race ended, they'd both be through, done and dusted. Of course, points are important, so they're all trying to get as many places as possible. But Salazar in the background, he needs to overtake one of these cars, otherwise that's his competition over. So he will not be putting any punches, whereas these guys are trying to get round as quick as they can without disturbing each other or losing any time. It's great action.
I tell you what, it's easy for us to sit here and go, don't fight Adam Saswilla and Mangano. You're both going through. However, if you're in fourth place, you're the first man that's basically going to fall out of the repechage should you lose a place. So you don't want to be in fourth place. There was Latkovsky. He's trying to move down the inside. Is he going to make it on the exit? Latkovsky side by side with Rubelar. He went for the move last time round. Now he was patient. The move wasn't going to come off, but Latkovsky being patient with the move, and now he's through nice and cleanly. So Latkovsky into the race lead. Rubelar down to second.
That's how you know you have a good driver in your hands. He learns. He knows his weakness, he's worked on it, and he's through nice and cleanly up into the lead of this repechage event. Now, if all things go well for him, he'll be able to pull away and not have to worry about anybody else. But of course, now Rubelar behind in the Cayman, he has the slipstream. He's going to get towed down the straight, get a speed advantage, which made it very hard for the Australian driver to pull away from the lead. Now in the background, Mangano and Saswillo, the gap has opened up a little bit between the two, and Salazar is about a second off the back of them. You can just see him in the background of your picture. That is going to be the fight we're going to be focusing on probably the most, because that is the last position in our repechage event. But meanwhile, still going on at the front. I don't think Rubelar wants to come second in this race. I think he's got his sights firmly set on that top step.
Yeah, I think he's going to have a go here as they get down towards turn number 2. Making a move into turn number 1 would not be an idea that I'd advise to Rubelar, but down at turn 2, of course, that is perhaps the most popular overtaking spot there. As they make their way now up the hill towards turn 2. Does Rubelar have a look down the inside of Latkovsky? I don't think he's close enough, to be honest. Latkovsky doesn't defend, and Rubelar stays in second. Looking further back, the gap between Saswillo and Salazar has gone up to a second now. Make that 1.1. So Saswillo, I think, is he starting to break away here? Salazar, does he have something left in the tank?
He needs to, Saswillo, and I can bet he didn't think that he'd be fighting for the last spot of the repechage event coming as to go through to the grand final. Salazar is gaining on Saswillo behind as well. Rubelar getting a bit sideways. Now he needs to calm down a bit. He has a bit of a gap behind, a little bit of a gap in front. The thing is, Mangano is approaching. We all know the talent of Giorgio Mangano, and if you know the Italians, they definitely know the talent of Giorgio Mangano. They tell us every time we see him, but he's not someone who's going to settle for third position. Now, going back down the field a little bit, here is Nick McMillan and McCabe as well in the Audi, another front-wheel drive car. That one not doing too badly right now, but it's been a very average couple of races for McCabe, hasn't it?
He's been a bit of he's been a surprise, but for the wrong reasons, I think it's fair to say, because McCabe had such a good regional final, finished on the podium there, and came into this as a one to watch, and he's just underperformed in every single race. It's a real shame for McCabe. But let's return to the battle for the top 4, because Salazar has closed the gap to Saswillo to just 0.3 of a second. In turn, Saswillo has dropped 1 second back from Mangano. So this could be a straight fight between these two, between Saswillo and Salazar for that 4th place.
Now, realistically, that fight needs to happen for any of these guys to have any chance in hell of going through. And here it is happening. Salazar is right on the back of Saswillo. Mustang versus Veyron. Never thought I'd say that on a stream, and here comes the Mustang taking the defensive line there. Siswillo knows that Salazar is fast in that Bugatti Veyron, just pushes him out to the outside of the circuit, tries to let him run through. But look, here are our top 5 drivers. Siswillo again making another mistake. There's been a few mistakes from Adam now at these live events. Seems to be a lot more comfy racing from home than he does at the events. And at the moment, if he makes one more mistake, there is a Portuguese driver waiting to pounce in his rear view mirror. Behind these guys, 2 seconds back, is De Jesus in the Scirocco, the front-wheel drive car. So if these guys fight, that might let another Australian driver come into the fray. So it might be not quite over just yet. I don't think it is anyway.
De Jesus has driven a very good race, in my opinion. He's now put himself in a position where he could potentially get involved in a battle for 4th place here, and he'll have fingers and toes crossed that does happen. Up towards turn number 1 we go now for the 10th time of 12. Latkovski still leading the way by 3.5 tenths over Rubelar, who's closed that gap back down to Latkovski since his earlier mistake. Mangano is, of course, closing in on the top 2 after that mistake from Rubelar, and he's, of course, broken clear from this battle between Siswillo and Salazar. Salazar closing in as they go into the braking zone, and Salazar almost throwing it up the inside there, looks to the outside. Can he get the cut back on exit? Yes, he can. Salazar draws alongside, and he's going through to the finals at this stage.
Someone just said in chat that Siswillo will be fine. The Mustang is fast in the straights. Well, mate, I one up you with this. Salazar to the inside takes the last repechage place for now, but we know that Adam Siswillo is a fighter. He will not take this lying down, but these two fighting might bring actually it's McMillan. McMillan is now up into 6th place. What happened to De Jesus there? Mistake.
He got a penalty. Silly error from De Jesus somewhere, because he has picked up a penalty and he's dropped down to 8th place now, and he would have been involved perhaps in this battle if that hadn't have happened. So unfortunate driving there from De Jesus, but here we go in the battle for 4th place. Salazar is now going to be the driver having to defend from Siswillo as we come up towards turn number 8 and down towards the final corner. Siswillo a much better run. Oh, and he's just reminded Salazar that he is right behind him there. A little bit of a punt going in towards turn number 9 on the exit. Siswillo is just going to breeze past Salazar, who gets a little bit sideways out the last corner. So Siswillo gets that ticket back into the finals.
And this is going to go on all the way to the checkered flag. They do have a bit of a gap behind them, about 4 seconds to McMillan, so something big has to happen for them to fall into the clutches there. But this is everything for Siswillo and Salazar. Whoever is behind come the checkered flag will be out of this competition. Again, Salazar looks to the outside. He might try the cut back again, but Adams learned from last time. Sticks it on the apex, slows down the Veyron, but it's not enough. Look at the forward drive, there's contact between them. And I think everything's okay there. I think Salazar got off the throttle and lets Siswillo take their position back there. Right thing to do. We do not want this race being settled by stewards. If you can keep it clean that way and maybe let off a little bit, all the better for it. But we only have a lap and a half to go. At the moment, it's Siswillo who'll be taking the last spot and Salazar who will be out of the competition.
I mean, Jimmy, he's probably just going to be lining up where he tries to make this move now, right, Salazar? He's thinking of this last lap. If he can't get through on this lap, then he's just sort of almost imagining that move happen in his head.
I think so. You have to think about this now. Latkovski and Rubelar still at the moment nose to tail. If I were Rubelar, I'd be waiting for the last lap for the move if I really wanted that extra point. Is it worth it though? You have to think about that. At the moment, all these 3 drivers, including Giorgio Mangano behind there, these are all going through to the grand final. It's a battle for 4th that we're interested in at the moment, and it looks like Siswillo has a little bit of a gap there to Salazar. Maybe a mistake there from the Portuguese driver, but at the moment, Latkovski, Rubelar and Mangano getting close in the background. The battle is not over yet, Chris. This is going to go down to the wire.
Yeah, well, here we go. It's the battle for the lead going on here, and the 4 points that go with it. 3 will go to 2nd, 2 to 3rd, and 1 to 4th place. And the battle for 4th is on once again. They're only split by 2 tenths. You can see them in the background. Siswillo going defensive. Salazar was looking to the outside. Hopefully we can pick that battle for 4th up, because that is a crucial fight for the last space into the finals. And Salazar looks to the outside of Siswillo as they come
down towards turn number 3. Latkovsky leader, but this is it. Look, Salazar has gone back into 4th place as he. Siswillo is on the inside though for turn 3 and will briefly be back in front. Brilliant block pass from Siswillo to hold on to 4th.
Just sits it on the apex. Meanwhile, the battle for second is underway. Mangano looking up the inside, trying to get one more point going into the finals. It looks like Latkovsky's going to have this one, but Mangano and Rublar, they're going to go right down to the wire, as is Siswillo and Salazar. They're about 4 tenths away at the moment. It looks like Salazar's lost a little bit of time in the middle sector. Looks like it's going to be Latkovsky that's going to take this Repechage race. And of course, as always, the Repechage race delivers action all the way through. And it's going to be Cody Latkovsky comes round the last corner now, and he'll take the Repechage win in the Corvette. Rublar will come second, Mangano in third, but who will come home in 4th? It's going to be Adam Siswillo. He takes the last place in the final. What a race!
Salazar just misses out, unfortunately, in 5th place. De Jesus finishes 6th place after that earlier penalty. McCabe in 7th, McMillan in 8th, Brooks in 9th, Pagenet in 10th, Lenoir will finish 11th, and just a little bit of a donut coming across the line, why not? Duval in 12th, Shirakawa will just be 13th, ahead of Skaruda in 14th, and then we have Holland and Wilk rounding out the field there, and Holland also decides to go for a little spin, quite literally, but another brilliant race provided by a Repechage there, and we now have the final 4 drivers that will join the earlier 12 drivers that qualified through by the semi-finals. We now know our 16 drivers who will fight it out for the world final on Sunday. So Latkovsky takes the race win then. Brilliant performance from him. Of course, Siswillo, that was our main concentration, that he was the driver to hold on to 4th place over from Salazar.
Some people, we've got a live chat here, some people debating the cleanliness of Siswillo's driving, but of course we do have live stewards here. They've deemed everything legal, so he will take the 4th position, but it was actually Salazar who had the fastest lap of the race out of anybody, which will be a little bit of maybe a very brief consolation, but of course now his journey is over.
Yeah, well, when you're sitting there on Sunday watching the final races take place, that's going to be a little bit disappointing. But let's find out, of course, the man that beat him to 4th place, what he has to say. Adam Siswillo is now with Julia.
Okay, I don't know about you, but I'm quite stressed. How stressed are you?
Very stressed, I'm exhausted.
That was full on right up to the last minute there.
Yeah, that wasn't the plan. I think a mistake earlier on and just running slightly wide. The second to last corner gave me a penalty, which meant I fell back from the front 2. So, but you know, got the result in the end. So.
God, you should be happier. You're going through to the final.
It's not sunk in yet. I was quite disappointed after the first race. So I thought I was going to be disappointed again with that Bugatti all over me. But you know, hopefully I kept it clean with Carlos. We know each other really well. So yeah, just really pleased.
So what's your plan now going into the final? How cool is it that I'm saying that?
That's really cool. So that was my aim, like coming into this weekend to get into the final 16, which I've done. So yeah, all attention now to the Red Bull X 2014.
Yeah, so, well, big congratulations on that. We're looking forward to seeing you in the final. Don't let us down, not that we're biased or anything, but we're slightly biased. So we're going to chuck it over to our commentators for those final standings.
Thank you, Julia. Well, that was a very relieved Adam Siswillo. Came into this potentially as one of the favourites, but just made it through. And only has 1 point on the board now going into the final.
Yeah, I mean, he's in the grand final, but he's in the worst possible position in the grand final. We've got 1 point, and that's it. We're going to have some replays coming up in a second to give you guys a highlights of that race and what race it was. And again, Chris, the Repechage just delivering. So here we are then. Here is Salazar on the board, and here's Mangano going past Salazar after his first incident, his first little mistake as he went off. We also have here Latkovsky and Siswillo. Siswillo with that earlier penalty, and Rublar looking not too happy with himself, but of course he didn't know he was going to go through at that point, so I wouldn't be either. Here's Mangano working his way up to 3rd position, and Siswillo, after his penalty, absolutely throwing it up the inside of the Veyron, made it through just about. Did a little sigh of relief after that. Here was Rublar and Latkovsky. This was the pass for the lead. Rublar a little bit slow off T2. Latkovsky up the inside. Practiced the move a lap earlier. Got it done a lap after. Great pass to the lead.
It was a good switchback move that from Latkovsky. This was Siswillo then having to defend from Salazar as they came down towards turn number 3. Salazar trying a switchback but couldn't quite get through. However, going up towards turn number 2, I believe this was when he was successful in making that switchback work. Salazar out of turn 2, just breezing past Siswillo, who unfortunately dropped back to 5th for him at this stage. And this was Latkovsky coming across the line. He took the win, and Latkovsky over the moon with that one. I've never seen a celebration like that from a repechage. Latkovsky, Rubelar, Mangano, and Siswillo, the top 4 drivers you can now see on screen, they all progressed through to Sunday's finals. Unfortunately, Salazar, De Jesus, McCabe, McMillan are out of the competition, along with Brooks, Pagenet, Lemoire, Duval, Shirakawa, Skaruda, Holland, and Wilk. A lot of drivers we've had to say goodbye to. So now we know our finalists: Fraga, Lopez, Gallen, Portia, Yamanaka, Blashan, Hizao, Kokibun. Some of the finalists, along with Yoshida, Wong, Law, Kadata, Latkovsky, Rubelar, Mangano, and Siswillo. That is a very competitive list indeed, Jimmy, isn't it?
Definitely, and I think we're going to see, well, as expected, our 3 finalists, regional finalists, through to the final. It's going to make for a great finale. That's it for us, though, in the commentary booth. Another great day of racing. Join us tomorrow for the manufacturers final. We're going to toss to Matt and Julia to end off the show. See you guys later.
See, what did I tell you about the repechage races? I told you that they were the best ones. That was unbelievably intense. I thoroughly enjoyed that. How
I
about
think
you,
it's
Matt?
just because everything's on the line there. The guys, you know, and they can't decide whether to battle, whether to hold off, you know, keep it clean.
But also, like,
It's so
Rubelar at the end,
tense.
he was like in second and he was really pushing. And I was like, don't do what you did before, which was just like choke a little bit at the end, which is what he did. But no, he kept it all the way through. So we have our 16 finalists for Sundays. So yes, tomorrow will be the Manufacturers Series, which will be coming to you at 6 p.m. CET. This is going to be a real mix-up, little bit of a different race there, but very excited. Are you excited to see that?
I'm really excited because we've got, the top ranking driver for each manufacturer making up in each region, making up the 3-man team. So it means that actually for the Nissan team, we've got Igor Fraga and Mikael Hizal, who were the 2 race winners today.
Yeah.
And they're going to be teammates tomorrow, along with Kokobun as well. So it's really interesting, yeah.
It's quite mad how that sort of actually come together, because they just like racing Nissan.
They've got to be friends for a day tomorrow, and then they're going to try and kick each other's butts again on Sunday.
Oh, well, thank you so much for joining us. There's so much racing to come for this weekend. We'll be back tomorrow with loads more racing. Goodbye from me, and goodbye from Matt.
See you
See
tomorrow.
you then.